Very good morning. So we are on the final day of revision. So there are a couple of 20, I think, a couple of things which is left out. One is on this balance of business communication. So post to which, so probably we will covering this balance of business communication, and we will be taking a breakfast break. So post to that, we will have two 50 question papers. Okay. So it will be total over of 100 questions. So one is question paper one is going to be mostly on the understanding part of it, and how it is, whatever we have studied, whatever we have made as an exception, whatever we have said, this cannot be part, very direct in nature. The second part is going to be as similar to pattern of an ICMA question paper, where it could be given as an example, given as an instance, and the answers could be asked. Okay. So we are going to see 100 questions. Before that, we'll complete the balance of business communication as we agreed. Okay. So till yesterday, what we have seen is nothing but the business communication related provisions, as well as subject related to uh, marketing, marketing and business communication, how it is important, and what are the types of marketing. We saw advertising, personal selling, all these things we have seen. Okay. And basically the communication framework, how it happens, who's the sender, who's the receiver, what is an encoding, decoding, all these things we have seen. Okay. So next area with respect to the business communication is types of business communication. Again, this has nothing great to ponder into, but to know how we are classifying it. So that communication basically we can see this flow chart here. It includes three types of making this classification is between the relationship in the parties, and what type of communication which is being used, and the flow of communication. So for each thing they have given a background on what basis. This is not totally different. So it could be a formal communication which is happening upward or downward. So these are classification types based on the relationship parties they are classifying, media used they are classifying, based on the flow of communication they are classifying. So they will also collide with each other. So let's assume I'm going to issue a letter which is a formal letter, okay, from an CEO to the workers or the managers. So the CEO will be writing a formal letter, and what sort of communication would be? It will be from downward communication, because from up to down, CEOs at the top, and it is going to reach the managers at the bottom or the workers at the bottom. So it will be a downward communication. We will be seeing that. Okay, it will be a formal way of communication. It will be downward, and he might be using a you might be using this written form of communication to communicate things. So this is not to see there are three different wings, and out of it they are just classifying. Based on this you can differentiate like this. Based on the media used in communication we can differentiate like this. Okay, we'll see how it works. When it comes to formal and informal communication, we have to see in the first category between relationship of the parties, formal and informal communication, how it works. So first thing which we have to understand is when you say formal communication, it is also called as official communication. How they are already designed how it should happen. In case if you want to request for something, if you want to request for a new laptop to your IT team, you have to send a mail to the IT team, right? So that way everything is already been predefined. So they say what is proper predefined channels and routes are already been fixed. You have to follow that, right? So formal communication is also known as official communication, and it shall have a proper predefined channel and routes how the communication has to flow. So whether I can directly reach out to people, no. So it will say that you have to send it to your manager. He will be sending it to the IT department. So that way everything is being fixed. When it case of informal communication, you don't have this formal nature of communication. Okay, there is no predefined channel. So if at all you want to check something from the respective department, you go talk to them and get the things done. So this works multidimensional. So here we have few uh, different types of communication, how this informal communication comes. So there is no types in formal communication because it is very simple and straight. You have to follow the proper channels. You have predefined channels, how you have to go and how you have to communicate officially, how you have to communicate, all that being covered. So they don't have any different types. But in case of informal communication, they have different types of it. So let's assume if a message has to be conveyed to somebody in a formal communication, obviously you have to write a letter, and whom you have to write a letter, to my immediate subordinate or my immediate superior. So that all you have to follow. But in case of informal communication, it is multi-dimensional. You don't have any predefined channel. இவங்க கிட்ட தான் சொல்லணும், அப்படிதான் போகணும்ன்றது கிடையாது. So I can tell it to anybody. It's an HR issue. Let's assume it is an HR issue. I directly go to HR and speak about it. I don't like the food quality in my canteen. So I might have to write some responses in the note which there is. So it is an informal way I'm going to communicate to them. Okay? Or I'll be just calling out them and saying that the food is not nice today. What is the problem? So I might ask them. So when this sort of communication doesn't have predefined channels, you don't have any existing um, mode which you have to do, then we call it as informal communication. What are those types of informal communication? Single strand chain is where I want to communicate something to somebody, okay, that goes from one to one, one to one, one to one. I say to A says to B says to C. This is called single strand. It goes in a single line, one to one. The interaction happens, it goes right. Then when it comes to cluster chain, you know what is a cluster? In in this award shows and all, they will be keeping tables, round tables, and people will be sitting there. So that we call it as cluster such type of arrangement. Meaning, I will be telling it to B will be telling it to E and F in this cluster. So there will be a communication where one person tells something to the other, and he will be telling to the most trusted person. So cluster, when you mean this cluster as a word, cluster chain, single standard is very clear, one to one, one to one. When it comes to cluster, they are going to go only by the person who they are feeling that they are trustworthy. So I say to A is going to say to few people who he trusts. Then they are going to say to few people who they trust. So that is how cluster. The moment when we see cluster chain, it is most trusted people. So only to trustworthy friends they are going to say, right? Then we have probability chain. So here at least we know how it is going. Probability chain, we don't have an idea. We say to A may say to B may say to C. So we don't choose any path. It happens randomly when it's probability is random, right? We do this coin tossing and all probability on which probability it could be a toss. It could be a, when we toss, it could be a head or tail. So how we do that? It is random choices, right? So similarly, when it comes to probability chain, in case of informal communication, it randomly chooses. I get some information, I randomly tell it to somebody. I don't look for a specific person, or I don't go for a trustworthy person. Randomly, I pass on the information to them. So that is called probability chain. And the last one is on the gossip chain, is where how gossip happens. So one person is no aware of this information, okay, he will start selling it to a group. How? I might be knowing some information, I go take lunch with all my friends, I say that okay, this is happening, do you know? So this communication starts when the person tells a group of people on some information which he has, and accordingly they are also going to pass on those information informally. So there are four types of informal communication, okay. One is single standard, two is cluster chain, 3 is probability chain, 4 is gossip chain. So that is based on the parties, relationship between the parties. It is divided into formal and informal, and accordingly, for informal communication types are also there, right? Then when it comes to verbal communication, what is verbal communication? Verbal means what we are speaking. We are also having written communication, right? So verbal, non-verbal, written communication are we are going to see here. Okay, verbal is purely, let's verbalize it, meaning you are going to communicate in the spoken words. Verbalனால என்ன அர்த்தம், நம்ம பேச போறோம். We are not going to give it in writing. Written communication or writing, verbal communication we are going to speak. Okay, we are going to speak. It is uses as spoken words to communicate the message. It uses spoken words, most effective form of communication, because this helps us to speak our mind and put it in a better way. Okay, even in case if the other party is not understanding, what we will do, we will make it so simple that they can understand. Okay, so that is why verbal communication is very effective form of communication. Now when it comes to non-verbal, what is non-verbal? Verbal na பேசுறது, written communication எழுதி கொடுக்குறோம். We might write a letter, we might be writing a mail, all these things will be coming under it. What is non-verbal? Non-verbal communication என்ன? So here non-verbal means is where it uses signs. Signs means what? It includes body language. It includes, so when we are having a physical class, no? So when I am having an eye contact with the students, when I ask them whether you understand, they nod their head. They nod their head, saying yes. They didn't speak. They didn't write. Okay, but they simply nod their head. Their gestures, their body language, that is going to tell me they have understood. They are communicating me through gestures, through body language. Then we call it as non-verbal communication. So it has a different um, types of ways. Non-verbal communication has couple of types. Okay, so those types are basically starting from punctuality, to be available on the time. So how it shows, it communicates that they are interested into the topic. In case of a touch, it is considered. Okay, so all these things has been considered as non-verbal communication. Okay, it is more uh, predominant to when the receiver understand the message completely. If I am going to ask you something, you should understand the question, only then you will be able to communicate. So what are those non-verbal communication? There are few things: chronomics, vocalics, haptics, kinesis, all these things. How to remember this? If at all, if it is being asked in the question, we have very few, thin chances this to be asked in the question. But if at all they ask, what you have to do? Chronomics means based on the time of the communication, time in the communication, speed of speech, time. So time, when we speak about time, we say chronological order, means date wise, time wise. Okay, give me the chronological order of events, means I'll be starting from morning. Okay, so from morning it happened, next it happened. So likely the time of communication is referred to as chronomics. When it comes to vocalics and paralanguage and vocalics means that voice tone or the pitch used by the sender. So it will be a fluctuation thing. So when they deliver some messages, no, they say this is what I was telling. So they have some voice tone changes whenever they want to emphasize the important things, right? So that we call it as vocalics and paralanguage, because this is also a non-verbal way of communicating that this is important, right? So I can say, though I am verbally communicating, the moment I raise my voice, I am non-verbally attaching something to it so that it is important, right? Then haptics is the use of touch in the communication. Okay, if somebody is grieving, we hold their hands and say, don't worry, right? So that sort of communication is haptics. Then kinesis, the body language of the person. So how they are sitting, on what posture they are sitting, and what sort of eye contact they are having with you. So all this body language will be under kinesis. What is proxemics? The distance between the person while communicating, that we call it as proxemics. All these are non-verbal. It is also important in the communication. We cannot stay too close to them, making them uncomfortable and communicating things, right? So all these things also important. Artifacts, the study of appearance of a person. So while you are here in a stage, how you are appearing, how you are presenting yourself, all these things are going to be called as a non-verbal way of communicating some message to. Okay, then we pass on to, it's not necessary to remember all these things, but I'm just giving an option. What if it is asked, you still have an opportunity to remember using this small words. Okay, then when it comes to sign language, this is good. Okay, apart from this non-verbally, you have sign language also. What is sign language here? We go in the road, there are traffic signs. Traffic signs literally gives us the information what is coming up ahead. So we see a sign of speed breaker, so we slow down, right? So no written communication is there, no verbal communication is there, but still the non-verbal sign language as a communication helps us to understand things, right? So this is one of the main part which we are looking at the sign language. Okay, because under sign language there are a couple of things. Okay, so action speaks louder than words. That is, rather than communicating, putting a word that there is a speed breaker again, so the moment you see that there is a speed breaker symbol, you'll slow down, right? So now under this we have one challenge. Why? Only if we know the sign language accordingly, we will be able to slow down. What if we think it is something else, or we have noticed it, but we are unable to understand that? So the sign language wouldn't work. So, for an example, two friends will be making gesture before the third person because they have an understanding. They say, "Let's move." He's just giving an eye gesture, eye movement that let's move. So he will be ready to move. What about the third person? They will not be aware of it, right? So as long as the two-person understands, it is effective. If not, it will not be effective. Okay, so what are the examples? Visual signs are there. So all these traffic signs which we are seeing, it is a visual signs which we come across in daily life. If we go to one place, we go to cinema theater, sometimes we see this, no, in the corner we will be having fire emergency exit. All those are visual signs. Okay, so nearest emergency exit is this way, and you find this uh, extinguishers sign also being kept. So visual signs are where visually they are representing we have to go. The exit symbol with the arrow mark, it means we have to move that way in case of an emergency, right? So those are visual signs. Now when coming to the audio signs, what are the audio signs which we say? Okay, so during the traffic, we find we hear some voice noise, no, the ambulance is coming. What is the ambulance? Soon after we hear this voice of siren, we are knowing either it is an ambulance or a police vehicle or a vehicle which has to move fast, right? So that audio as a sign is going to give you some message that there is an ambulance is on its way, you have to make way, right? So audio signs is also the same way. In case of emergency drills, right? Sometimes in factories, in case of a fire, immediately the siren will be uh, played. So soon after we have the emergency siren, we have to come out of the building and assemble at the safe assembly point. So all those are audio signs. So based on the audio, here, the problem is both the visual signs and audio signs has to be known to us. Let's assume somebody from America is coming. They don't know the visual signs, whatever is applicable here. But generally, I'm just giving an example because generally, all over the world, they use the similar visual signs. Okay. Example, he is coming to India and he is driving. He doesn't know what is the sign specifically means. How he will understand because he is not aware of it. Similarly, I am a visitor to an factory. I don't know how their siren signs would be for emergency signal, or I don't know whether there would be an emergency situation at all. So the siren is ringing. I think that there is something happening on the outside of the company. I sit in my place where somewhere there is a fire incident happening. Okay, unless until I am also aware of what the communication means, what the sign means, it will not be effective. So that is the challenge in sign language. Okay, then moving on to the modern methods. It is also a modern method under non-verbal communication. You just know it. So how it is. Jingles. You know what is jingles? A jingle is a short piece of music with one or more hooks. No? So we hear many things. I'll give a couple of examples. One is McDonald's. McDonald's jingles, they will say, I'm loving it. They will be using a tone. Okay, I'm loving it. Let's take an example of Britannia. You'll have this tin 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 jingle, right? So the moment you hear, you need not see Britannia. You are closing your eyes. Somebody says tin 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 tin. So it remembers you, Britannia is a brand. Okay, so this way, through non-verbal communication, also they are making a hook towards it. Okay, jingle is a short piece of music. Short piece of music. We can be asked a question of that way. Jingle means a short piece of music with one or more hooks and meanings that promote a product. So we have example of McDonald's, we have examples of Britannia that way. Then music. How your music can be a non-verbal communication, how it can brand a product. The moment we hear the Airtel tune, no, dun, 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 dun. So that tone itself will give us the information. Okay, Airtel tone it seems. Docomo, we have a tone. Then we have Vodafone, we have a tone, right? So all these message tones or the ringtones of those respective telecommunication companies, it is already very evident in our mind. We know what it is. Okay, even if it is a movie where that's a background, we come across several movies, but soon over we listen the music of an BGM of a specific introduction. We know who is the star, who is the what is the movie, right? So that way, music is also an excellent and powerful medium for conveying information. Then at last, cartoons. So how cartoons is going to help? The simplest way, put lot of information in very few words. Okay, so many information into very highly information we can see many newspapers have a small cartoon part of it. So they would do what, they take the political scenario what is happening, they put it as a comical cartoon. Okay, so that the people will get to know in a different way, very catchy way, right? So I am also a very big fan of this Amul cartoons. Okay, so this is a, we can see couple of cartoons here. One is on what we can understand. So this cartoon of Amul was released when 33 percentage reservation was given in the parliament for women. So we can just see 33 percentage is there, there is a woman. So accordingly, we know what is the message is being conveyed. In the right side, there is an image where we could see there is a globe is there, and we can see the trees are bare, and the there is the glaciers are melting. That is what we are taking. The simple word which they are coming to say here is global warming is happening. Okay, so there are these polar creatures which is not able to survive, they are struggling. So all these things put into a single cartoon, what does it mean? We can say it is global warming related picture, right? So cartoons are the excellent ways to reach the large audience. So under the modern methods of non-verbal communication, we have three: jingles, music, and cartoon. Jingles, music, and cartoon. Right. Then, so verbal, non-verbal, we have completed. Now we are coming to the written communication. Written communication is a proper written communication. The problem is, it is you have to be more careful while writing a written communication, because it goes as a record, right? If I send you a mail, it goes as a record. I send you a report or a letter, it goes as a record. You will have it for future, right? So so in order to be effective and not problematic, I have to choose my words clearly. Okay, I have to make it very clear, concise, so that it has to be effective, right? So all these things I have to ensure when it comes to a written communication. So what are the steps in written communication? They have four steps basically. I'll give you an example why it is important. Okay, it is general. We have already seen, we will be writing our thesis writing, no? We will be writing a fair rough draft, then fair draft, and then we will be again checking the fair draft. All these things, similar things we are going to see. So if at all I am trying to do a message, give a message, I'll first prepare the message. Okay, I will just articulate in my mind. So this is the message I want to convey. Then two, I will be putting a rough draft for it. First draft, they call it as first draft. So whatever the message, I will be putting into an paper saying that this is the first draft. Then I will be revising and editing whether the first draft is enough or I have to make some additions. I'll be revising and editing. The final important thing is proofreading, because at times we are the ones who do it. We have an oversight of things. So we will be confident that whatever we have typed is correct, we will be sending. But later we identify that there is a spelling mistake, or there is a we have not met the attachment, or there is some information which we have failed to attach. I give an example. There was an email which was sent from a director to me. So he was asking whether there is a compliance requirement or not. So I have explained all these points. The problem is I typed it from my mobile. I have given all the points. At the last line, I should say, so this uh, disclosures under this regulation not required. So instead of not, I missed the not. Okay, I failed to type the not. Rather, I have said required. Disclosure under this regulation is not required. Badala is required. So he was puzzled because first four paragraphs I'm saying it is not required, and the last line I'm saying it is required. So how to take this? So only thing which I failed to do is proofread it. If I have read it once before sending it, I would have definitely noticed it. So the four steps in written communication is preparing the message, first draft, revising and editing, and proofreading, where the communicator will be checking the context, accuracy, and appearance of the message, whether it is complete in nature. Okay, steps in written communication. Written communication is less flexible. You have to understand that it can be used as a legal evidence. All these things has to be taken into mind, right? Then coming to the type of communication basis the moment where it is happening. We are seeing an category here, right? Flow of communication, how the flow happens. So, basis the flow from whom to whom it is happening. We are going to bifurcate into couple of communications. Okay, one is vertical, one is horizontal, other one is diagonal. So here we have to know few other words also. Okay, so when it comes to vertical form of communication, we have two types. Okay, vertical means up to down. Vertical means perpendicular, like this, right? So downward, upward. So downward means from top to bottom, from the managing director to the general manager. This is the hierarchy of the organization, right? This is hierarchy of the organization. He reports to whom? He reports to whom? This way it is going. Who is the top person? Under him, how many people are there? One general manager is there. Under him, two assistant general managers is there. Under him, there are five departmental heads. Under every departmental head, there is three supervisors. Under every supervisor, there are at least five workers or employees. See, this is how the organizational hierarchy works. Now, what happens here is the vertical communication is going to move either upward to down or downward to up. The main part is it will only flow through this channel. The employee cannot directly go to a managing director or directly go to a assistant general manager. He has to make his claim to supervisor to follow to the next level, next level, next level, next level. So this is where the vertical communication is being emphasized. Okay, so it will be takes place among the seniors and subordinates. It will be among the seniors and subordinate between two people at different levels. Important to know this. Okay, between two people at different level in an organization hierarchy. There are two different levels, right? Then we are having communication between them. We call it as vertical. When it is from top to down, we call it as downward. When it from bottom to up, we call it as upward. That is the basic understanding. This is very simple, just re-emphasizing on it. So and for downward and upward, we had some paragraph. I just removed it. There is no necessity for it, right? So sometimes it might not be necessary. Let's assume the worker is having a very serious problem, and HR issue is there. Okay, an HR issue or an integrity issue is there. So whether, and the integrity issue is only on the supervisor doing something wrong, or he is trying to embezzlement of the company's funds, company fund ஏமாத்த பார்க்குறாரு. Now how the employee is going to report it? Because as per your vertical communication, whom he has to report to the same supervisor. அவங்க பாஸ் கிட்ட போய் அவரே சொல்ல முடியுமா, சார் நீங்க பண்றது தப்புன்னு சொல்லியிருப்பாரு மேபி, பட் how can he can raise a complaint on himself? He wants to convey it to the management. How he have to go through? He cannot go to anybody because it is a vertical form of communication. So that is a challenge in vertical communication. So they have brought in this ombuds person. Ombudsman we would have read in banking segment. Okay, so in case of a banking ombudsman, if you have a problem, banking relationship problem இருந்ததுன்னா, you can reach out to person. Similarly, this ombuds person is a very common term. Ombuds person is a person who you can reach out to in case if you want to make some grievances to be reported. So an ombuds person is a person hired by the organization who acts as a liaison between the top management and the employees. So when there is all these people in between, okay, these people, all these people are in between, so the information which the employees want to convey might not reach the top or might get diluted. So for this, to overcome this, they are keeping this ombuds person. You just know ombuds person இப்படி ஒருத்தர் இருக்காருன்னு மட்டும் தெரியும், right? So now coming to the horizontal communication, vertical ல என்ன பார்க்குறோம், between two people at different levels ன்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, இங்க ஒரு லெவல் இங்க ஒரு லெவல். But when it comes to horizontal, it is takes place among employees at the same organization level. Anga two different levels, inga same organization level. So horizontal means we know horizontal line. So same level of people க்கு நடுவுல நடக்கற conversation. So manager categoryல இருக்கவங்க அவங்களுக்குள்ள பேசிக்கிறாங்க. They are not going to uh, grade below them or grade above them. So this sort of communication is called horizontal communication. It is also called as lateral communication. Lateral communication. So it refers to the individual or groups in the same organizational level. So horizontal, vertical we have already seen. Vertical level you have two concepts: vertical, upward and downward. Horizontal, same level. Then finally diagonal communication. In a diagonal line, you know what is a diagonal level? Square level. If you are putting a line like this, we say it is diagonally cut, right? So what is diagonal? You don't have any horizontal or vertical way to communicate. You can communicate to anybody. Okay, so even the department C can directly go to the president. Okay, department A வந்து department A ஓட vice president க்கு தான் போகணும்னு கிடையாது. So they can also go to the vice president of finance. So there is no specific control that you cannot communicate this way. So how it is going to help? Diagonal communication helps when the information passing is happening more predominantly. There is a failure in with respect to and ப்ராடக்ட் ஃபெயிலியர் இருக்கு, ஒரு மிஷின் ஃபெயிலியர் இருக்கு. இதை நான் வந்து சூப்பர்வைசர் கிட்ட சொல்லி, சூப்பர்வைசர் மேலே சொல்லி இதெல்லாம் போகிறதுக்கு டைம் ஆகுது. இமீடியட்லி ஐ எம் ரீச்சிங் அவுட் டு த சூப்பர்வைசர், இமீடியட்லி ஐ நீட் சம் சேஞ்ச் ஹேஸ் டு பி டேக்கன். ஸோ திஸ் ஆல்சோ இம்ப்ரூவ்ஸ் த எம்ப்ளாயி மாரல். எப்படி people are ready to hear you, your CEO is ready to listen to you, your president is ready to listen to you. Yes, you have anything, please tell me. No, don't worry, don't, you need not take the long route to reach out to me. I'm readily available to hear you out. So this sort of communication is helping uh, vital role to boost the employees, workers and moral. Okay, employees and the workers moral. Now what we call it as diagonal, how we see it is a crosswise. So it is also called as crosswise communication, right? It is also known as crosswise communication. So communication based on the flow of communication, vertical, horizontal and diagonal. Vertical has downward and upward, where it happens between people in two different levels of organization. When it comes to horizontal, it is also called as lateral communication, and it is going to happen between the people from the same level of organization like the same level in the organization it is going to do. And when it comes to diagonal, it is also called as crosswise communication, and it can happen anyway. Okay, clear? Then Finally, on the medium in which it is being communicated is a third category, right? So media is during communication, whether it is written or gestural. Mostly this also gets covered here. Apart from that, when we use electronic means, I mean the internet basings the communication, how it has come, how it has evolved in the previous years. So internet based communication, which we can see now, is every major product or every, see, let's take Amazon, let's take Prime, even Prime or Netflix or whatever the other OTT platforms we are having, Hotstar, or leave that out in case if it is going to be an manufacturer of some goods. Everybody now have an social media handle, and they have a Twitter page. Rather than going and raising a complaint in their formal way, people go and post it in their page, social media page, so it gets immediate attention to the public as well as the top level people there, or whoever is accessing to this social communication platform, because it is more wide reached than any other form of communication. So internet has made the communication easy, that we have to accept. Okay, now later, what sort of communications they have reached out to it. So these are few options. You need not remember, just know. So they have started implementing for the customer interactions. Online businesses do not have in-person communication like telephone services or either type of other services. So in the direct selling la கிடையாது. Only when we receive calls for loans. Otherwise, online does the major business. We are speaking about something. The next few minutes we are going to browse something. It will automatically come in your suggestion list. If you want to buy something, you will. This is available in those sites. So the customer interaction through online mode is happening, and I'm going to a site. I want to purchase a life insurance policy. I'm going to a site for searching. There is a pop-up coming up, and it says that you are looking for a policy. I would be able to help you. Alexa would be able to help you. So the customer interaction is made simple. So if I'm raising asking a different difficult question or a different scenario, it says that the bot is unable to get to the person. So can it transfer to an agent? Then it is getting transferred to an agent. And an agent on the other side of it, a person, individual, he is going to communicate with you. All these are viable because of this internet thing, right? Then support options. So most of the support options are now available in the online. You can go raise your ticket online, and you can seek this. Even the same support, customer interaction support is happening. I want to close my account. What has to be done? So they give the options online itself. So all the support option is given. Then present personal touch. What is the personal touch? Simple thing, simple message, no? In our banks, no? Let's assume in case of an Canara Bank or something, on the given date of they have all your birth date, all this information they have. On your birthday, they wish you. Canara Bank wishes you a very happy birthday, Mr. So and so. So they are adding personal touch to it, saying your name. So rather than saying dear customer, they are saying dear Mr. So and so. We understand you, and the type of product you are looking for, basis that they are going to give you options. So the moment you are looking out for a car advertisements, you are seeking the online prices or something, HDFC will come up with you saying that we have a free car loan for you, already pre-approved car loan for you, because basis your preferences, they adding personal touch to it and bring something towards you, right? Then professional presentation, that is more important with respect to it. So we are reaching out to customers, but it should not be an very too friendly manner. It is necessary that it has to be professionally represented. I'm going to ask, hey, Mr. So and so. I cannot do that. So, good morning, Mr. So and so. So we could see you have been interested in your product. So that is the formal way I have to communicate, right? So the professional presentation, wherever it is necessary, it is also to be followed. So this is basically how it has envisaged, the online communication has envisaged all these things now, right? Then what are the types of internet-based communication? Email, which we know. Cloud computing, what is the cloud computing? We are looking at cloud, right? Amazon cloud is there, Google Cloud is there, all storage is there, right? All Google Cloud storage. We have OneDrive storage. What is this cloud is being there? What is the help of it? See, the moment if I am leaving this laptop from my home, what if I have access to some, I have to access some data in this laptop? I have to come back home. But rather, if I have stored this all into an cloud, anytime using a login, I can take it from any system in anywhere in the world. Okay, even in my mobile, when I am not in my home, not away from my laptop, I want to check some information in my data. So what I'm going to do, since it is in cloud, I'm just going to log in and see the information requested. So it is on demand availability. The cloud offers you on demand availability of data anywhere at any part of the world, right? So that is because of what? The internet being the server for all these things. It serves the purpose of all these things. So email, cloud computing, e-commerce. This is more predominantly seen. So earlier, what if I have to order something in North India? Whether it is possible. So even this foreign things and all we are seeing, right? The overseas things which we are seeing. If at all somebody is coming from there only, we will be able to tell them, please buy this and come. I need this. Or even in case of India, somebody only when they are traveling to North, we will be saying that, please get me this. It is not found in South India. It is only there in North India. Please buy it. Or similarly, from people from North India are asking, we don't get that good quality things here. South India has good quality in that. For example, Kanchipuram silk sarees we have. So from people from North India rush to Kanchipuram and they want to purchase the good sarees here, yes, they can do. But now, whether it is an we call it as generally we call it as boss, business, and building. No, it is restricted to the building. So if at all I want to buy something, I have to come all the way from anywhere in the world to Kanjipuram. But whether that is the scenario now, from your home, sitting in any part of the world, you can order for the same silk sarees from the shop in Kanjipuram because e-commerce is been enabled. All our Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, whatever the sites which is offering e-commerce uh, catalogs, right? They are giving a catalog of products. These are all the products available. When you can get it delivered, what price, what offers we do. All these are enabled by internet-based communication. If at all, or 10, 15 years to Munadi, if we are looking at, we want to buy something like this, we had no option. Now we have all options because e-commerce has given the product in your hands. You can choose, right? Then last one is on the voice over internet protocol or video conferencing, which is again gaining knowledge. And the personal presence of the person is not. Yesterday I had to meet a person. Unfortunately, he is also traveling. I was also busy, so we didn't have a physical meeting to happen. Rather than we connected over an internet call. We connected over a video conferencing call, right? So that how it is possible. Again, it is, see, why the video conferencing or voice over internet protocol. See, phone we can still speak. Phone has been here for generations, but we want to see the other person. How what are the reactions about the information which we are giving. We need to have a kind of a personal connect. So similar to how we are meeting them in person, we also want them to see here in the same way. So understand how empathetic are there, whether they are understanding, whether they have problem. So based on their gestures, whether I have to repeat it or not, all these are held through video conferencing. So it is no more an problem to travel all the way. So I want to communicate somebody in Delhi. I need not book a flight and go and travel. I can ask their timing, whether we can do it through a virtual meeting. I can schedule a meeting face to face. I can see them. Only thing is, it is through an mode of communication, right? Clear? So internet based communication includes email, cloud computing, e-commerce, and voice protocol. We can see the differences. You know what is cloud computing? On demand availability of computer resources. E-commerce, where business is more accessible by removing geographical barriers. This is what I was mentioning. Voice over internet protocol is internet calling, and the traveling is very expensive and time consuming. So, very importantly, in order to take this 1 hour meeting, should I travel the entire 3 hours from here to there, 1.5 hours in flight, and then I have to take a cab and again come back? So, 5 hours for 1 hour. So, all these things are removed through video conferencing. So, email, we know email as an communication, how it works. So all these are enabled under the internet based communication module. So without internet, how it would have progressed, we don't know. Right? Clear? So the communication, types of communication, what we have seen here, okay. Um, Types of communication bases the relationship between the parties. Then we also have seen the flow of communication, and basis the medium of communication, how it is used, and internet based communication will also we have covered. Right? Can you move forward with the next topic? Can we move forward? Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Yes. Thank you. So next we have, this is a very generic topic on the business and social etiquettes. You know what is first etiquettes? Let's learn what is etiquette. Etiquette is nothing but a professional conduct or the behavior which we have to display. So when we are going for a meeting, how we have to be dressed. We are going for an interview, how we have to present ourselves. Okay, so we say, right, we see in the internet call letters, please get yourself groomed in a presentable manner, formal stubber, no, you have to wear shoes. All these things are basically, they are acceptable conduct, which is acceptable for an interview. You have to come like this. So etiquette is nothing but a set of guidelines. If at all etiquette and keta, we should be able to understand this. Etiquette is a set of guidelines and rules for manners and behavior that is acceptable in a professional conduct. Right? So this is very generic meaning. Now etiquettes la enna sir etiquette iருக்கு, all sort of etiquettes is there. Meal etiquette is there, telephone etiquette, how to speak in the phone is there, meeting etiquette, how to conduct a meeting, all these things coming under an etiquette. Okay, many dressing etiquette is there, how you have to dress. All these things are there, but it doesn't have any relevance to ponder upon. அதை பத்தி எல்லாத்தையும் படிக்கிறதுக்கு ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. We even know what it is to be done. Okay, so they are giving an example. So when somebody reaches out to you and he says that, hey, how can I help you? So rather than if we are saying that, good morning Mr. Alok, tell me how can I help you, it is giving more professional and polite nature to ask a person how it is, how I could help you. So this is what the business communication and etiquette is going to move the uh, path of communication into. So communication, we will be able to communicate, but the etiquette adds a professional touch to it, a professional conduct to it. So accordingly, we will be able to professionally represent them. Right? Why the importance of business and social etiquettes are important? It creates building positive relations. You just know this headings alone and not even required. Just for your information, I'm having this. Makes a workplace protective and rewarding in nature. So when you have this sort of professional attitude, people will be very pleasant to talking to you. Okay, it will build positive relations, and accordingly, when you are this much helpful, later when you need a favor, you can go ask to them, and you will also be able to get things done. So it makes the workplace very protective and also rewarding in nature. Now, going into the types of etiquettes, they have given numerous points in our book. Okay, how this meeting etiquette will be there, what are the points to be noted in the meeting etiquettes, but I have not taken that in this revision part because it is understood, we even know most of the things. Okay, so business etiquette is basically internal and external meetings க்கு போகும்போது how you are going to, business meeting க்கு போகும்போது how you are going to represent. Okay, so first one, if I am going to, I'm just giving certain information which is not here, but just you can hear it out. So when I am going for a meeting or I am being invited in the meeting, how I should be. Okay, I should be on time, or in case of I am the person who is organizing the meeting. எனக்கு ஒரு பர்பஸ்க்காக ஒரு ஒரு ப்ரொடக்ஷன் இஷ்யூ இருக்கு, அதுக்காக வந்து ஐ நீட் a meeting to be called for. So I have to make sure when I have to call for the timing. ஓகே, ஸோ ஹூ ஆர் ஆல் டு பி த பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட், அவங்களுக்கு சொல்லணும். நான் வந்து எல்லாரையும் கூட்டி வச்சுட்டு இங்கே வந்து இதுதான் நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ண போறோம்னா வாட் பேக்ரவுண்ட் தே வில் பி ஹேவிங். நோ, ஐ ஹவ் டு இன்ஃபார்ம் தெம் திஸ் இஸ் த மீட்டிங் which we are going to discuss have. Okay, 1 hour இருக்கும். So accordingly I have to assemble them, I have to make where the meeting is going to happen. All these things are very basic things, and it should be fruitful. அப்புறம் என்ன டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணணுன்ற வரைக்கும் after we complete the discussion, whatever we have discussed, this is what we are saying minuting, we call it as minuting, because whatever the procedure happen in the meeting, எதெல்லாம் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம், என்ன டிசைட் பண்றோன்றத we will be writing it, we call it as minutes. When we go to the intermediate stage, we will see about companies act minutes, board meeting minutes. So anga வந்து that is also we will be seeing. So business meeting etiquette, how you are going to represent yourself, how you are going to establish your professional conduct in a meeting. It can be an internal meeting with your team members, or it can be an external meeting. External meeting la yaru, you can meet the stakeholders, bankers meet பண்ணலாம், government, media houses, all these things are business meeting etiquette has to be followed. So that is considered here. When it comes to telephone etiquette, then how you are speaking into a telephone, இதுக்கும் நிறைய பாயிண்ட்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. I'm just leaving it out because that doesn't have a question paper value, but more than that, it is already, simple things that when I am answering a thing, answering a call, I should be polite. I cannot say who is this. No, right? So when somebody is reaching out to me or I am reaching out to somebody, I have to first confirm. If I'm calling into my friend, it is okay. But when I'm calling to an professional colleague, I have to first check. Or I'm reaching out to a new number first, the first time, I have to check, is this Mr. So and so? So he says yes. Then I have to also ask him whether this is the right time to talk to him, because he might be driving, he might be in a very important meeting. So first get their concurrence before this. And also when I have to make this call after 10:30 in the night, no, the possible hours very, which are during the business hours I can make. Not if even if it is an urgent thing, okay, urgent thing, I might have to see whether it is necessary to call him or disturb him at that hours of the time. Okay, it must be a very silly issue. I'm calling him at 11 o'clock and saying that this happened today. So he will ask, why you want to tell this? Tomorrow morning you should have told it, right? So what is the urgency on it? So basis all these things you have to ensure. The voice tone and how you are reacting. Or if somebody is calling you continuously, okay, now we are receiving a call, we should not keep last stringல தான் எடுப்பேன் அப்படின்னு வச்சுக்க முடியாது. So if at all you are free, you are going to take it. And similarly, you are calling somebody, that person is not attending, you have to give a break. Maybe they might be in a meeting, after 1 hour or something you can do call, rather than that calling them again and again and again, leaving them 140 missed calls. Will that work? So those are not to be done. So that is being said under telephone etiquette. What about a meal etiquette? Again, somebody offers you a meal. Somebody inviting you for a dinner. How you should be? You should not go 10:30 மார்னிங் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் மீட்டிங்கு கூப்பிட்டுருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா 10:30 போய் நிற்க கூடாது. Okay, you have to be early, bit early, at least by 9:45 or 10. You have to go meet people. You have to see them. Thanks for inviting me. Be polite. Okay, while having food, you help others. They want water or they want a refill into their uh, juice or liquids, you just help them with that. You have to pass on, be polite to thinking, and avoid unnecessary talk relating to that. And if you are being invited and only one few people there, unless until they give the introduction to you to the other party, you don't barge into their conversation and make yourself an acquaintance to them. So all these things are basic meal etiquette. After the meal is over, you thank them for inviting. Okay, so that way you have to uh, organize yourself, you have to make yourself professionally conducting towards all this meal etiquettes. Then email and blog etiquettes, where when you write in an email or a blog, how you have to write is being built in. So again, you have to be too professional when it is going to be email. I cannot trash somebody, meaning what? I'm just going to scold somebody. You are not doing this work. Why you are doing this, right? So let's assume I'll take an example of it. So in an email etiquette, there is a team which is your counterpart team. They need some you need some information reports to be given by them, but they are not giving it for a long time. Now you are writing a mail to your to the respective team's head. Now you are writing, Mr. So and so, our team has been following with your team and they are not responsive. They have been irresponsive for the past 2 weeks. Our work is more important than yours, and immediately you have to give the reports, or otherwise I have to make the complaint to the management. Will that work? It is just going to make things worse. So rather, the same mail could be written as Mr. So and so. Hope you are doing well. Okay. I understand there is you might be understanding we have this deadlines which is coming up and we need some information from your department. I understand you are also busy with your work, but if you could spend some time, offer somebody to work on this issue, it will be helpful for us so that it will be able to submit our proposals on time. I request your support on this matter on an urgent basis. Kindly do the needful. So this might help. So that way, how you respond to them politely and positively is going to give you a similar feedback. If you are being arrogant, they are going to be also giving an arrogant response. In case of a blog, what sort of communication which you are making in the blog, it could backfire, right? You have to avoid all misunderstandings. You have to avoid all unambiguous comments. All these things has to be avoided, right? That is why when you write in an email or a blog etiquette, you should make sure that the content is so professional, not offensive on anybody, okay? And it is likely to reducing all the misunderstanding. It should be clear and precise and it should not offend anybody. Then we have this business attire. It's basically the clothing is what we are speaking about. So for a man and woman, what are the business attires you have to do? Now we have something called business casuals. For the meetings, they have business casual. Evening dinner meetings, they call it as business casuals. Okay, we have been speaking about business formals. Now we have business casuals also, right? So where you have to wear what? So in case of a purely business meeting, you have a board meeting, how you have to dress up to. Post to the board meeting, you have an dinner party. So you can have a lenient wear there. So all these things might be differing. That has to be taken up. So there are types of etiquettes has been discussed here: meeting etiquette, telephone etiquette, meal etiquette, email and blog, and business attire has been discussed under this category. Okay. Then following that, how about this business communication and public relations are important? These are just paragraphs. Okay. We know what it is. When it comes to the public relations, communication from an organization, from a business house or company is going to communicate to the public on certain terms. If it is not effective or it is offensive, people will not accept it. So let's assume there are some religious beliefs in India, and the company is going to introduce a product which is against the religious beliefs. Whether people will be accepting the product, even though it is a top company, they will be starting to regret being the consumers of this company because what they are doing is different from the public's policy, right? So that way, whatever the communication which the business house intends to give it to the public must be very reasonable and need basis, and it has to establish that they have come for the right purpose. Okay, it must not be in order to communicate எதையோ சொல்லணுன்றதுக்காக சொல்லக்கூடாது. What is the role they want to do it? Okay, what is the role which the public is going to do? I'm the customer. Based on your advertisement, I'll be taking it. So what has to be done? How your communication has to be with me? So all this is going to be very important when it comes to public relations. Okay, public relations can be defined as maintaining and sustaining a healthy relationship with the organization and public. So it is not only with the product, not only with the advertisement, also with the service perspective. ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை வித்துட்டீங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் சர்வீஸ் வரும்போது அதெல்லாம் கிடையாது, பண்ண மாட்டோம்னு சொன்னா whether you have a good public relations, no. So you have to also maintain a good service. So the main aim of the PR, public relations, is to create public relations policy, statement and press releases. When you do that, publicity, maintaining relations and publications, all these things will be taken under this. And these are the 7. Arthur W. Page has given 7 principles of public relations. You may note, you just read it out, and there is no necessity that they are going to be asked. So it tells the accurate, you have to give the accurate picture of the organization. Businessல என்ன நடக்குதுன்றது சொல்லணும். Focus on actions instead of words. சும்மா we will be doing that, we will be doing that, appeals கொடுக்காம. So you are not just giving the words, you are not applauding with something. ஓகே, போஸ்டிங்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, அது பண்ணுவோம் இது பண்ணுவோம்லாம் சொல்லலை. பட் யூ சி ஸ்பீக் ஆக்ஷன்ஸ், என்ன பண்ண போகிறோம் அப்படின்றத மட்டும் கிளாரிட்டியோட சொன்னால் போதும். அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் த வாண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் கிளியர்லி டு த பப்ளிக். பப்ளிக் ஹேஸ் அ ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட், வி ஹாவ் டு ரெஸ்பாண்ட் டு. பப்ளிக் ஹேஸ் அ ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் ப்ராடக்ட் ரேஞ்ச் விச் வி வுட் லுக்கிங் ஃபார். அது நம்ம ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணாமல் வேற ஏதோ பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம்னா how it happens? People will not like it, rather I will not be able to be profitable. Anticipate public relations, eliminate practices that may hinder and goodwill. ஒருவேளை இந்த ப்ராடக்ட் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் இந்தியன் மார்க்கெட்ல இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்றதுனால ஐ மைட் ஹாவ் டு go down in my goodwill, na, I will not do that. I'll say that no, this let's Indian market in the product vanana, I'll make choices. Adopt this corporate strategy, realize the success of the organization which is in the hands of the public. Obviously, whatever they are produced, it is going to the customers. The customers are public. பப்ளிக்கு போகும்போது அது வேணான்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்கன்னா I'll be at loss. So realize the success of the organization, it lies in the hands of public, and remain calm, composed, dignified and peaceful at any time. Some company might come against you and say something about your company, saying that they may put a default under you. Say, we have seen couple of advertisements, no? For example, this Horlicks and Complan went into an rivalry advertisement where this Complan would be saying that Complex makes me taller. Some advertisement will be displayed. So the Horlicks mom will come in the same advertisement. The Horlicks mom will come and say, "Oh, it only makes you taller." So the other child will say, "It makes me sharper, stronger, and taller, or whatever it is." So they are literally mocking the other product. அந்த ப்ராடக்ட்டை வந்து வேஸ்ட்டுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இந்த ப்ராடக்ட்டை வந்து பெட்டர்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. So this is not the way to communicate in case of public relations. They are literally catfighting with each other. So that is not how the public relations. You have to be peaceful, dignified, and very professional in communicating to the public. Right? Now, what happens in case if it is going to end up in negative public relations? You are going to lose the business. Where the situation of a bad image of the company is created, the negative PR also includes dirty tricks to extensive research from information gathering and trying to tarnish the other reputation of the other company. So let's hear one of the, Coca-Cola's formula is one of the secretive formulas. Nobody knows that, only a very few people know the formula. One of the employees of the Coca-Cola reached out to Pepsi, says that I have the formula of Coca-Cola, uh, I can give it to you. But what Pepsi did, Pepsi saw a very fair competition between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Pepsi literally reported to the Coca-Cola saying that one of your employees is coming to me, please make your things right. Okay, so if at all Pepsi wanted to do that, they could have done it. They could have easily bought that and made this. But later, obviously, what the news would be, Pepsi intentionally bought some person in Coca-Cola and got the formula that will be creating a very bad public relation on the name of the brand of Pepsi. So they don't want to do that. They instead reported to the Coca-Cola company itself saying that one of your employees is trying to do this. Please get things in order, right? So that way, public relation is going to make the end of your business. So ensure that you have only positive public relations. Okay. Now, how effective public relations can be? This makes an impact on people. So people become aware of your brand, they accept your brand, and accordingly they action your brand. So the moment you have a good rapport with the public, they are ready to take your product, they are ready to try your products, right? So these are couple of things which though there is no monetary feasibility on this, they made this. Wix made a video of this person called Gayatri, right? So it is an inspiring video. So they had no obligation to do this, but they still did it, so in order to promote something, right? Similarly, in case of an Uber, at the time of COVID and all, obviously there were everybody was going under many turmoils. They just gave a post relating to saying that thank you. Generally what happens after we ride, we will say that thank you for riding with Uber, right? But they gave a different post saying that thank you for not riding with us right now, because they are also having challenges to operate vehicles. And moreover, unless until you have the very much necessity, you want to reach out to the hospital, you are not well, only then you use these services. So they said, thank you for not riding with us right now. Okay, stay home and stay safe. So these are generous messages which they are trying to create a good public relations. They want to reach out to the public even when they are out of business. They want to just make sure that they are constantly in the eyes of the public, and they can still have their good name and goodwill in the public to be maintained. So this is can be done only by the effective public relations. So it is not only whenever something happens we have to report. No, constantly we are going to have a touch with the uh, public as the customers. So that is how it works. Okay, then advertisement and business communication. Advertisement, we know what it is. Advertisement is an impersonal form of communication, and advertisement means to advertise, to turn the minds of someone towards something, to give an promotion of something so that people will look out for you. So that is how important it is. Importance of advertisement: introducing a new product, obviously. Amplifying sales, you want to increase sales, do an ad. Steady demand should be done accordingly, continuously. If you want to have demand, you keep advertising all these things. Stay in competition, public awareness, all these are advantages or importance why advertising is needed. Now this part is important, where what are the mediums of advertisement? So we could be asked any of these areas and say what sort of advertising it is. So when it comes to the printed form of advertisement, form of newspaper, magazines, we call it as print media advertising. In case of a broadcast, TV broadcast or radio broadcast, so we call it as broadcast advertisement. Outward advertising, we go in the uh, road, we see billboards, big billboards saying that this is opening today, there is a new shop nearby, or there is a new hotel which is open nearby. All this banners, billboard advertisement on train, buses and all getting advertised now. Behind the buses they are putting some companies, this and all. We will come to know, okay, there is a product of this nature. Then the most important part on the current day world is on digital advertising. Every application we open, there is an ad which is coming. YouTube open, there is an ad which is coming, right? So digital advertising is also a medium of advertising. There are four mediums of advertising: print media, broadcast, outdoor, and digital advertising. All are coming into the mediums of advertising. Okay, why it is important? Relationship of advertisement is important. Constantly you have to keep your name among the public's mind. Okay, so whenever if you are out of something, you are being out of business, then the public relations goes out and the advertisement is going to not being required. But as long as you want to stay in business, the advertisement is necessary to keep reiterating to the public that we are there, we are still in the market, right? For an example, how they have changed things, no? Maggie, uh, when it comes to this Maggie, we all know this Maggie advertisement, 2 minute noodles, 2 minute noodles. Basically, Maggie is a snack category. Okay, now we have had it as an breakfast category. Now it is a snack category. Noodles is basically a snack category. Now we have added it to a dinner or breakfast thing, right? So when Maggie was accused of this lead content, Maggie was banned. If you know, Maggie was banned for excess lead content and all. There was an accusation. We don't know whether it is true or not, but there was an accusation of that sort. But after that, Maggie came back. They cleared all the food test and all. When they came back, they came up with this advertisement in the second part of it. Your favorite Maggie noodles are back now. Okay, because they have cleared all the acquisitions made on them, they came back into the market. Now also they are ruling the market, right? The moment you say noodles, it is always Maggie. Though we have other couple of options like top ramen and other noodles, the the generally when we go and ask noodles, they always give Maggie. So that sort of advertisement and uh, reach this companies have. Similarly, when it comes to Amul, they made certain iconic things. When it comes to Vijaykanth's Vijaykanth's are expired, so accordingly they made a simple this thing paying a tribute to him. Similarly, when Dhoni retired long back, but the number 7 was reserved for not for further use. When this happened, they also gave this jersey, the number was not given to somebody else. It will not be given to anybody else from now on. The 7 will be reserved always for him. So those when the events when they happen, they made their own interest to have their part to establish something or to in remembrance of these things they have made it. So apart from this, they are keeping us engaged. All these things are what they are just trying to keep us engaged. We know Maggie is there, we know Amul is there. It's just though they are paying tribute to all these things, they are just making sure that the brand is again re-emphasized somewhere. That's all, not more than anything but that. Right? Right? So next is on the writing of drafting of business audiences. So we write many letters to the business audiences. What are those letters is going to be? What are the types of those letters is being there? There are basically four business letters, sorry, business audiences. Then we'll be coming to types of business letters. Okay, four business audiences. Who is a friendly audience, who you are easy to deal with. Okay, you just have to inform them, they will be helpful to you. Okay, uninformed audience, these people are not aware about your business, but you have to go and uh, reach out to them. So these are all on business perspective. If we are going about these four into an example, a friendly audience is where he is already knowing about your product. You just have to emphasize saying them, see, this product is available for now, sir. It has got benefits also. Since he is already knows the product, he will be ready to make a decision right away. Okay, that is friendly audience. In an uninformed audience, he is not uh, informed about it. He doesn't know about the product. What we have to do, we have to make him aware first. So then only educate him. Then only he will be aware of the product. Then apathetic audience is where they are start from early stages. They are uninterested from the start itself. They don't want to uh, hear you out itself. They don't want to hear about the product itself. But as long as you are able to convince them that the product is good, you have to justify your product to, then only they will agree. But when they come itself, they will come up with this attitude that I will not listen to this person. Okay, whatever you say, whatever good essentials or the specification your product has, but still I will not be interested. What is there in this product? So that sort of attitude this apathetic audience will have. The last, the hostile audience is hostile forever. Okay, hostile means you cannot persuade them. They disagree with the communicator on all aspect. Okay, apathetic audience, at least you have a small ratio. If you are proving them you are right, they will okay. It is hard to prove them, but still it can be done. But hostile audiences are you cannot persuade them. They always come with a closed mindset. So those are the four types of business audiences: friendly, uninformed, apathetic, and hostile. Okay, what is the purpose of this communication is going to do is inform, persuade, and create goodwill. That is generic. Then we have letters and memorandum. Okay, memo nu solluvom இல்லையா, letter and memo. That is what memorandum means. Letters means the business letter. it will be in a different format. இந்த ஃபார்மேட்டில் இருக்கணும். நம்ம லீவ் லெட்டர் எழுதும்போது எழுதுறோம் இல்லையா? ஸோ ஃப்ரம் டு subject போட்டு what is the subject, then sign, all these things we are doing. So letter always comes in a format. Okay, ஒரு request letter கொடுங்கன்னா it should be in a format. So when it comes to the memo, it is a short message. It is a short message. Memo means a short message which is being conveyed, right? So this is the difference between business letters and memo. There are types of business letter. In the letters we have to know, because என்ன type of letter அப்படின்றத பேஸ் பண்ணி we might be asked to question what is this sort of letter, or இதை சொல்லிட்டு what is this letter type, ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொடுத்து இந்த letter type என்ன, which comes under the business letter category அப்படின்னு கேட்போம். Okay, so to help this remember easily, we are just going to take one transaction. Okay, ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் நீங்க வாங்கணும். First level, what will we do? I am a buyer, I want to uh, buy something, so I am going to send a letter to the vendor saying that enquiry, in the product உங்ககிட்ட இருக்கா, இவ்வளவு குவாலிட்டி வேணும், this price I am ready to buy, you give me an quotation for this. Okay, this enquiry letter is basically I need this product, do you have this product availability, please let me know அப்படின்னு சொல்றாரு. This is the first letter which comes into place. I'll be making an enquiry, we call it as enquiry letter. The buyer wants to know the details, he will be sending information to the prospective sellers or the prospective vendors. Okay, so it will reach them. அப்ப அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க? So enquiry letter is sent by the buyer, quotation letter is the second. So in the letter வந்தோடனே the seller, what they will do, they will give a quotation. Yes sir, we have the respective goods. Okay, and this is the prices which we offer for it as a quotation. Price quote கொடுப்பாங்க, இந்த goods எல்லாம் இருக்கு, இவ்வளவு பிரைஸ்க்கு நாங்க விக்கிறோம். Then it comes to the buyer again. Now the buyer is going to see, oh, the goods are available, the prices are good. Okay, I am now going to place an order. Yes, I am ready to take an order from you, 100 order கொடுத்துருங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி I am going to write a letter. Then we call it as order letter. Order letter is going to happen. So this is the format of enquiry, quotation and order. Okay, enquiry, quotation and order. Good, good, right? Now the order has been reached to them, he is going to supply 100 goods to me, and when the 100 goods comes to me, I find this the goods are damaged. அப்ப என்ன பண்ண போறேன்? I am going to write a complaint letter saying that, see, 100 goods which you gave to me is not up to the quality, it fails the quality correcta illa, I'm writing a complaint letter to you. Okay, so that letter is being called as a complaint letter. When the purchaser does not find the goods to be in satisfaction, he files a complaint letter. So this is happening. In case if he is going to correct the goods and giving to me, okay, I'll agree that, okay, whatever the goods you have uh, uh, replaced, new goods கொடுத்துட்டு எனக்கு ஓகே அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். Now I have to pay you, right? Goods வந்துடுது, எனக்கு நான் கேட்ட மாதிரி goods வந்துடுது. Now I have to pay you, but I am not paying. What you will do? You will go for a recovery letter. You will raise a recovery letter. You will raise a letter seeking, please make the payment. Goods நான் கொடுத்துட்டேன், டிஃபால்ட் இருந்து சொல்ல அதையும் கிளியர் பண்ணி கொடுத்துட்டேன். Now you pay me. So that recovery letter is also coming. These are the 5 business letter. ஒரு கதை ஒரு லைன்லயும் இந்த கதை இருக்கு இல்லையா, வாட் டைப் ஆஃப் லெட்டர்னு, இதை பேஸ் பண்ணி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கேன் பி ஆஸ்க்டு. ஸோ அக்கார்டிங்லி வி ஷுட் நோ என்கொயரி, கொட்டேஷன் யாருக்கிட்ட இருந்து யாருக்கிட்ட போகுதுன்ற வரைக்கும் நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சு வச்சுக்கணும். ஓகே, என்கொயரி, கொட்டேஷன், ஆர்டர் லெட்டர், கம்ப்ளைண்ட் லெட்டர் அண்ட் ரெக்கவரி லெட்டர் are the types of 5 types of business letters. Okay, memorandum is one or to all note normally used for communicating policies. So as I told you, memorandum ku format லாம் பெருசா கிடையாது. It is short message, last of it is a short message or record used for internal communication. Memo is going to happen in the internal communication. So generally let's assume the people in the office, employees லாம் லேட்டா வராங்க, தினமும் லேட்டா வராங்க, 9:30க்கு மேல வராங்க. So an office memo will be sent saying that we could see that many of the employees are reaching office late. So from next week onwards, the time shall be 9:30 குள்ள இருக்கணும் எல்லாரும், இல்லைன்னா we will be imposing fines on whoever who comes late அப்படின்னு போடுறாங்கன்னா that is a memo. That is a common information is given to, right? So that is called a memo, a short message or record used for internal communication, right? Then moving on to the reports. Reportsல formal reports, informal reports இருக்கு. ஸோ இதுலலாம் ஏன் வந்து இதை கொடுத்துருக்கேன்னா கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர்ல there might be least chances but still there might be, ஏன்னா 10 marks தான் இருக்கு. 10 marksக்கு what they are covering, 10 questions 20 marksக்கு இருக்கு 10 questions. 10 questionsல எவ்வளோ கவர் பண்ண முடியும், ஏன்னா பெரிய டாபிக் பிஸ்னஸ் கம்யூனிகேஷன் அவ்வளோ சொல்லிட்டு இந்த நியூஸ்ல போய் கேட்பாங்கன்னா வெரி தின் சான்சஸ், பட் ஸ்டில் வி ஹாவ் டு நோ தம். ஒருவேளை கேட்டுட்டா we should be able to write. Okay, what are the types of reports, formal and informal? Again, simple understanding. Formal reports are ஆல்ரெடி இப்படி ஃபார்ம்ல இருக்கணும், ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கான ஒரு ஃபார்மேட் இருக்கு, இப்படிதான் பண்ணணும், இது எல்லாமே கிளியரா டிஃபைன் பண்ணியிருக்கிறது. ஓகே, இன்ஃபார்மல் மீன்ஸ் they don't have any formal way of reporting. Basis the requirement I can give you. Okay, now types of reports la we have several reports. Information reports where ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் ஃபேக்ட்ஸை பற்றி சொல்கிறேன், இன்னைக்கு என்ன நடந்தது, இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் ரிப்போர்ட், இன்னைக்கு கலெக்ஷன் ரிப்போர்ட் கொடுங்க அப்படின்னா பேஸ்ட் ஆன் வாட் எவர் த கலெக்ஷன் விஷ் ஹஸ் ஹேட் ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு கிவ் ரிப்போர்ட் அண்ட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த ஃபேக்ட்ஸ் ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு கிவ். தென் அனாலிட்டிக்கல் ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ். அனாலிட்டிக்கல்ஸ் மீன்ஸ் வாட் யூ டூ அனாலிசிஸ் அபவுட் சம்திங். நான் லாஸ்ட் இயரோட எக்ஸ்பென்ஸ் அனாலிசிஸ் பண்ணுங்க, எதுலெல்லாம் நம்ம அதிகமாக செலவு பண்ணியிருக்கோம் பாருங்க, பட்ஜெட்டை விட அதிகமாக என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஸோ யூ டேக் அன் அனாலிசிஸ் அண்ட் கிவ் இட் அஸ் அ ரிப்போர்ட், தென் யூ கால் இட் அஸ் அனாலிட்டிக்கல் ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ். தென் ரிசர்ச் ரிப்போர்ட். Similarly, I want to make a research. நம்மளால ஏன் வந்து ப்ராஃபிட்ஸ் அட்டைன் பண்ண முடியல, நம்மளோட காம்படிட்டர்ஸோட டேட்டா பாருங்க, காம்படிட்டர்ஸ்ல எவ்வளோ they are charging for these general expenses, employees cost எவ்வளோ இருக்கு, எல்லாத்தையும் பார்த்துட்டு you come up with a competitive analysis, you research something and come back, then you call it as research report. Statutory or non-statutory report are, statutory reports are reports which are required under the law. ஒரு கம்பெனி வந்து has to give director's reportனா it is a statutory report, right? Statutory non-statutory report basis that it is going to, if it is a statutory requirement, it is a statutory report. Statutory requirement illa but they are doing it for a internal thing na, it is a non-statutory report. Routine reports, every week I have to receive this management information report na, it is a routine report periodically on matters required by the organization. Every week இப்போ நான் டெய்லி வந்து இந்த ரிப்போர்ட் அனுப்புறேன், இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் ரிப்போர்ட் அனுப்புறேன். சிமிலர்லி எவ்ரி வீக் வந்து எனக்கு அக்யூமுலேட்டடா ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட் வேணும் அப்படின்னா ரொட்டீன் ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும். அண்ட் ஸ்பெஷல் ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ் வேர் ஸ்பெஷல் நேச்சர், புதுசா ஒரு 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 ஆக்சிடென்ட் நடந்திருக்கு ஃபேக்டரியில, ஓகே இது ஏன் நடந்தது, எனக்கு வந்து ஐ நீட் investigation reportனா that could be called as a special report. Okay, the reports are formal and informal. இதுக்கு நடுவில் டிஃபரன்சஸ்லாம் இருக்கு. ஃபார்மல்லையும் வந்து you have advantages, disadvantages. Informally you have advantages and disadvantages, but no, a report which is already been in shape and form is formal, and which is not a formal report is informal report. That at least we should know, right? Then business report writing, how this business report is being written. A formal business document is written. It's basically I'm going to give a report to you, and the report எப்படி இருக்கணும், it could be a presentation, PowerPoint presentation also, அது எப்படி இருக்கணும். So the elements of business report will include cover page இருக்கும். First cover page, what is this business report is about, what are the contents which I am going to discuss at. Okay, then I'll be an executive summary. அதில் இந்த என்டையர் ரிப்போர்ட்ல நான் சொல்ல விரும்புறது இதுதான். சம்மரி மீன்ஸ் வாட், a summarized form of what we are going to see. So that is going to be given. Then sections, அதுல ஒரு ஒரு பார்ட்டா கொடுக்க போறேன். Then supportive information with respect to that. So cover page, contents, executive summary, sections and supporting information will also be the part of business reports. அதுக்கான slides we will be seeing later. Okay, so these are how the business report has been formed. For an example, I need the sales information of 3 different units னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. என்னோட இந்தியாவில் ஒரு கம்பெனி இருக்கு, அந்த இந்தியாவில் இருக்க கம்பெனிக்கு 3 இடத்துல ஃபேக்ட்ரி இருக்கு, சென்னையில் ஒன்று, டெல்லியில் ஒன்று, மும்பையில் ஒன்று. இந்த 3 இதுக்கும் சேர்த்து எனக்கு ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட் வேணும். கவர் பேஜில் சேல்ஸ் ரிப்போர்ட்னு சொல்லிடுவேன். கண்டென்ட்ஸ், இட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு ஹேவ் all the 3 locations sale data. Then executive summaryல ஓவரால் டேட்டா இவ்வளவு, ஓவரால் வாட் எவர் ஐடென்டிஃபிகேஷன் வந்து இது அப்படின்னு சொல்ல போறேன். அப்புறம் செக்ஷன் வைஸா போறேன். பிளான்ட் 1 சென்னை பிளான்ட் எவ்வளோ, பிளான்ட் 2 மும்பை பிளான்ட் எவ்வளோ, பிளான்ட் 3 டெல்லி பிளான்ட் எவ்வளோ, சப்போர்ட்டிங் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் அந்த ரெஸ்பெக்டிவ் பிரான்ச்ல இருந்து they would have given information இல்லையா, அதெல்லாம் சப்போர்ட்டிங் இன்ஃபர்மேஷனா வச்சு கிராஃப்ஸோ இதுவோ if you are putting into as an appendix, all this going to be forming part of business reports. The elements of business report will have all these things. We'll be seeing a um, the presentation வரும்போது we'll be seeing a similar thing here. இங்க பார்க்குறோம் இல்லையா, ஸோ அந்த ப்ரெசன்டேஷன்ஸ்ல we'll be seeing uh, what it is. இந்த மாதிரி ப்ரெசன்டேஷன்ல it will be there. I've just removed this for the sake of revision purposes, but அதில் வந்து புக்கில் பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா அந்த பிஸ்னஸ் லெட்டர்ஸுக்கு they would have given இமேஜஸாக கொடுப்பாங்க. கவர் பேஜ் எப்படி இருக்கும், கண்டென்ட்ஸில் என்னென்ன இருக்கும், எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ் சம்மரியில் என்ன இருக்கும்னு இமேஜாக கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. தட்ஸ் ஆல். தட்ஸ் நத்திங் மோர் டு எம்ஃபசைஸ் ஆன். பட் ஸ்டில், what is the business proposal? So we are now making a business proposal to an organization. இப்போ நம்ம பார்த்ததே ஒரு business proposal தானே, ஒரு என்கொயரி லெட்டர் அனுப்புறோம் இல்லையா, that is even a business proposal. என்ன டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் business proposal இருக்கலாம் அப்படின்னா, the business proposal has to mainly say about these things. Characteristics of a business proposal has to say, I am offering solutions. உங்களோட சேல்ஸ் கம்மியாக இருக்கா, we have solutions for that. What benefits you will be taking up. இதனால you can increase your sale up to 25% in single year. Credibility, we have already done this in few other companies. அவங்கெல்லாம் இவங்கெல்லாம் என்னோட பிளேயர்ஸ், இவங்கெல்லாம் என்னோட கிளைண்ட்ஸ், they have been successful, you can also be successful. Samples, I can give you few samples for it, examples. Then targeted, it is specifically targeted to the intended audience. யாருக்கு போகணுமோ அவங்களுக்கு போகணும். A business proposal is a written document sent to prospective clients. யாருக்கு அனுப்புவாங்க, prospective clients. இப்போ நான் இருக்கேன், எனக்கு வந்து they come up with new ஒரு ஒரு complaints tool வருது. அந்த complaints tool வந்து they will reach out to me, sir there is a new complaints tool. எப்படி சொல்லுவாங்க, it will give you all solution. உங்க எல்லா கம்ப்ளைண்ட்ஸையும் ஒரே டூல்ல ஹேண்டில் பண்ணலாம் சார். ஸோ தட் இஸ் த சொல்யூஷன் விச் வி ஆர் ஆஃபரிங் அண்ட் இட்ஸ் இஸ் பெனிஃபிஷியல். நீங்கள் அப்டேட்ஸுக்கெலாம் வேற எங்கேயும் போக தேவையில்ல, we will be updating you instantaneously. Okay, then credibility, we are already doing it for 100 plus companies in Chennai, so they are very successful. It includes சொல்லி sample names கொடுக்க போகிறாங்க. இந்த பேங்க் இருக்காங்க, HDFC Bank is uses ours and they are also இந்த பேங்க் இங்களை யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. or இந்த company which is Tata is also using our software, you can also use அது மாதிரி. then targeted, எனக்கு see in my company who is handling this compliance, I am handling this compliance. வேற யாருக்காவது இந்த மெயில் அனுப்புனா whether they would be able to take call, no. So a business proposal is a written document sent to the prospective client to obtain a specific job. ஸோ அப்போ அது மாதிரி எனக்கு அனுப்புகிறாங்க. இஃப் ஐ ஆம் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபைட் வித் த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் விச் இஸ் ப்ரொவைடட் பை தெம், ஐ மைட் டேக் அ கால் டு சே ஓகே லெட்ஸ் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர் த ஆப்ஷன். சொல்லுங்க, இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லெட்டர் தான், பிஸ்னஸ் ப்ரொபோசல் மட்டும்தான், இது போகலாம் போகாமே இருக்கலாம். ஓகே, it may go to a business opportunity or not, but the business proposal letter might contain all these characteristics. Okay, then while drafting for business audiences, what we have to do அப்படின்றது சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. So all these are very generic content. I'm not going to read it out everything, but these parts, how it has to be there, you have to ensure that it displays a respect, patience and empathy towards the other culture. Okay, it sometimes we have to adapt a particular culture of the business firm and accordingly and cross borderல நடக்க போகுது டிரான்சாக்ஷன்னா how it has to be taken up. ஸோ இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஆன்சர் கீழே இருக்கு. இந்த ஸ்டேஜஸ் ஆஃப் இன்டர்கல்ச்சுரல் சென்சிட்டிவிட்டியில் ஐ வில் கிவ் யூ திஸ் ஆன்சர். இதெல்லாம் எப்படி அங்கே அட்ராக்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படின்னா, generally I'm taking a specific example so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so Sir Milton Bennett has described the 6 stages of intercultural sensitivity. Intercultural means what? Two different cultures are getting merged. First there will be a denial stage. ஒரு கல்ச்சர் இன்னொரு கல்ச்சர் ஒத்துக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேஜ் வில் பி டினையல் ஸ்டேஜ். இந்த கல்ச்சர் தான் கரெக்டாக இவங்க நிற்பாங்க, இந்த கல்ச்சர் தான் இது கரெக்டாக அவங்க நிற்பாங்க. ஸோ தே வில் ஹாவ் டினையல் அபவுட் அதர் பர்சன்ஸ் கல்ச்சர், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேஜ். தென் ஸ்லோலி தே வில் ஸ்டார்ட் டிஃபெண்டிங் இட். எப்படி, இது தப்பு இல்லையா உங்களுக்கு, the culture which you are saying is not, is it not different அப்படின்னு சொல்லி they will start defending. Okay, one member would have spotted a difference between their culture and look the difference in negatives. இது நெகட்டிவா இருக்கே, இது உங்களுக்கு தப்புன்னு படலையான்ற மாதிரி செகண்ட் டே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் இஸ் denial, they will fully deny. Second is they will be defensive. Then they will minimization of those. They will also see small differences இருக்கு அப்படின்றத ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிப்பாங்க. Okay, there will be small minimization of those things where the members recognize and even appreciate the differences in the culture. அப்பதான் வந்து ஓ உங்க கல்ச்சர்ல இப்படி இருக்கா, எங்க கல்ச்சர்ல இப்படி. So at least they agree that it is as far as you don't push it on me, but you can follow your culture. And the minimization வரும். Then you will have acceptance. You will be free to accept the other party. Other person வந்து என்ன பண்ணாலும் you will be ready to accept. Then you will start slowly adopting it. If it is good culture, it is a good culture, you will start adapting to that culture. ஓ இப்படி பண்ணலாமா, ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் பெட்டர் இல்லை, என்னோட கல்ச்சரில் இருக்கிறவரோட இதில் வந்து பெட்டராக இருக்கு. ஸோ bicultural capacity will come. I will be in my culture, also adapt to other culture. I will also adapt to other culture. Then there will be integration of both the activities. So any cultural integration will go through all these 6 stages. Integration means coming together. Integration means coming together. So I can see all these things where starting denial, then it will be defensive, defense, denial, defense, minimization, acceptance, adaptation and integration will be 6 points. இதை பத்தி கேட்கலாம் again. It is very thin chances, but கேட்டா நம்மளால எழுதணும். Okay, then there is something called ecocentrism. இது இங்க இருக்கிற கான்செப்ட்ல தான் வருது. எக்கோசென்ட்ரிசம் இஸ் நத்திங் பட் நான் சொல்றது தான் கரெக்ட் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறது. Okay, it is a psychological barrier. It is a type of psychological barrier that obstructs the communication among people from different cultures. When a person believes that his or her culture is superior compared to the other culture, then it is called ethnocentrism. Okay, ethnocentrism means என்னோட ethical values, என்னோட ethical culture தான் other than more than yours அப்படின்றத நினைக்கிறது. Okay, so அதுல 3 ways to avoid ethnocentricism: avoid assuming details, இதெல்லாம் headings, avoid assuming details, avoid premature evaluations, and recognize the differences in cultures. All these are ethnocentrism. என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. When a person believes that his or her culture is superior compared to the culture of other people, this belief is called ethnocentrism. அவங்களோட கல்ச்சர் தான் பெருசுன்னு நினைக்கிறதுக்கு பேரு ethnocentrism. If at all, if it is being asked in a question, you should be able to write. Okay, clear? Then the last couple of parts is going to be on the barriers on communication and legality of it. So what are the barriers? What are the barriers in business communication? Communicate பண்றதுல என்ன சார் barrier அப்படின்னா, there are a lot of barriers. Say language is a barrier to all of us. Sometimes we will not be able to speak the language that the person understand. So recently I met a person from Korea. So they are unable to, they know English, but only thing is the flow of English which we are speaking, they will not be able to understand. Similarly, if they are speaking Korean, we have no idea. It is literally no idea of those language for us, right? So that way the barriers to communication is still there. Okay, so what are the barriers in communication? They are giving into physical barriers, semantic barriers, psychological barriers, organization barriers, and others. In the 5 categories la பிரிக்கிறாங்க. Physical barriers na enna? Physical barriers is we are unable to communicate because of this physical areas. What are those physical areas? Distance, geographical distance. We are unable to communicate to them because they are in a different place. Then environment and climatic conditions. Obviously, we will not be able to appreciate the other person's climatic conditions because we have barriers towards it. Technical disturbances. இதெல்லாம் எப்படி ஒரு இதில் பார்க்கலான்றது சொல்கிறேன். You are unable to meet a person. You are arranging for an video call. இது பண்ணுறீங்க. அந்த வீடியோ காலில் அன்ஃபார்ச்சுனேட்லி the climate is not good there. Total rains, இன்டர்நெட்டே கிடையாது, பவரும் கிடையாது. Then the environment is also going to affect your physical barrier. Then technical disturbance. அவங்க சிஸ்டம் ஒர்க் பண்ணல. இப்போ இன்னைக்கு எப்படி காலையில் கரண்ட் போச்சோ அது மாதிரி there is a technical failure with respect to that, and I have to ask you, sir, sorry, we have to start it late, yeah. So அந்த மாதிரி I am going to give an excuse relating to that. Then similarly, organizations or people and the time difference areas இருக்கு. What if I am going to communicate with somebody in US? அப்போ நான் எப்போ உட்காரணும்? காலையில் உட்காந்து இப்போ அவங்க தூங்கிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. ஸோ எனி டைம் ஆஃப்டர் 6:30 தான் they will have their morning. ஸோ அப்போ 6:30னா என்னோட ஆஃபீஸ் ஹவர்ஸ் 5-6 மணிக்கே முடிஞ்சிடுது. ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் physical barriers due to their totally different locations or geographical areas. Basis that we call it as the physical barriers. Physical barriers are created mainly due to the disturbance in the surroundings or environment of either party. Okay, the physical barrier can be natural or artificial. Natural and rains ஆ இருக்கலாம், இல்லை artificial ஒரு power breakdown ஆ இருக்கலாம். Whatever it is, it can be easily spotted, right? Then semantic means, semanticனு வார்த்தை பார்த்தாலே languageனு எடுத்துக்கணும். Semantic means language. Semantic barriers or language barriers னா புரியல, நீங்க சொல்றது எனக்கு புரியல, or we are both are speaking in English but I am using too technical English. நான் வந்து இந்த idioms and phrases தான் யூஸ் பண்றேன். இப்போ அதெல்லாம் எப்படி உங்களுக்கு புரியும்? ஸோ ஐம் லிட்டரலி சேயிங் எனக்கு நிறைய வேலை இருக்குன்னு சொல்றத ஐம் லிட்டரலி சிட்டிங் ஆன் பின்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்றேன். அப்போ நான் என்ன உண்மையாவே பின்ல உட்காந்துருக்கேன்னு எனக்கு நோ. மழை பெய்யுது, ரொம்ப அநியாயமா மழை பெய்யுது, ஐம் சேயிங் தட் இட் இஸ் ரெய்னிங் கேட்ஸ் அண்ட் டாக்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்றேன். அப்போ வந்து ரொம்ப மழை பெய்யுதுன்னு அர்த்தம் idioms and phrases meaningல. பட் என்ன cats and dogs are ரெயினா பெய்ய போதா என்ன? So that is not the way. So as long as we don't understand the same thing, it is a problem. So semantic barriers are language related barriers because the வேர்ட்ஸ்லாம் ரைட்டு ஃபேர் இந்த மாதிரியான மிஸ்அண்டர்ஸ்டுட் வேர்ட்ஸ் வரலாம். மிஸ்டு ஹியூமர், நம்ம ஒரு தமிழில் ஒரு காமெடி சொல்லுவோம் பட் தே வில் நாட் பி ஏபிள் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஆர் இங்கிலீஷில் நம்ம ஒன்று சொல்லுவோம், தே மைட் பி ஹேவிங் அ டிஃப்ரெண்ட் லாங்குவேஜ், they will not be understanding, so humor will be missing. And use of idioms, as I told you, sitting on pins and needles ன்னு சொல்றேன். ஸோ அவங்க என்ன லிட்ரலா எப்படிப்பா பின்ஸ் அண்ட் நீடில்ஸ்ல உட்காந்துருக்காருன்னு எடுத்துக்க முடியும்? ஸோ as long as the other person understand, it is okay. If not, it is failure. Then there will be semantic barriers when it comes to language, and the phrases which we use is not able to be understood by the other party. You have semantic barriers. Okay, these are things which how we can overcome semantic barriers. I'm not going to run it through you. Anyways, it is just simple thing. Then psychological barriers, this is again a problem. Sir, மற்றதெல்லாம் இல்லை சார். சைக்காலஜிக்கல் பேரியர் ஐ கம் வித் அ க்ளோஸ்ட் மைண்ட், கேட்கவே கூடாதுன்னு இருக்கேன். அப்புறம் எப்படி வந்து யூ வில் பி ஏபிள் டு டூ தட்? How I will be able to understand the other person's perspective? No, I will fail, right? Psychological barriers where expressions one thought using a verbal or non-medial communication is happening, but the other person is not ready to accept it, or not in அவர் வேணும்னே கூட பண்ணல, but they are having some other problem. He is in his அவங்க வீட்டில் ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம், he is thinking about it. Now we are going to communicate now, it will not get into him. Okay, so the mind itself creates barriers. We call it as psychological barriers, right? So there are emotions, hollow effect, and information overload. So emotions is nothing but based on the person's mood and operation. அவர் ஆல்ரெடி ரொம்ப மூட் அவுட்டா இருக்காரு, அன்னைக்கு போய் நம்ம இன்னும் வந்து அவர் மூட் அவுட் ஆக முடியுமா? ஸோ தட் வே எமோஷன்ஸ் வில் ஹாவ் எஃபெக்ட் ஆன் சைக்காலஜிக்கல் பேரியர்ஸ். hollow effect where the particular trait of a person outweighs the other traits. ஸோ hollow effect is where அவர் எப்பயுமே ஷார்ட் டெம்பர்டு, மற்ற எந்த நல்ல விஷயங்கள் இருந்தாலும் நமக்கு ஞாபகம் வருது ஷார்ட் டெம்பர் தான். ஓகே, அதை போய் இவர்கிட்ட சொன்னால் வந்து he will get tensed ஆச்சு, he is too short temperedனு சொல்லி we will not be able to do that. So that is a psychological barrier. Information overload, obviously too much of information, what we do today now, right? I am loading you too much information in the same session, yeah. So that we are calling as burdening the listener with too much information. Then organization barriers, ஆர்கனைசேஷன் லெவலில் இருக்கிற பேரியர்ஸ். ஆஸ் ஐ டோல்ட் யூ, ஃபார்மல் ஆர்கனைசேஷனில் ஃபார்மல் கம்யூனிகேஷன் பண்ணணும்னா இந்த மோடில் தான் போகணும்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. அப்போ அந்த மோடில் போனால் இன்னும் ஒரு 3 வருஷம் ஆகும்னா வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் நவ், ரைட்? ஸோ எனக்கு இன்னைக்கு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் இமீடியட்டாக வந்து ஹேட் டு பாஸ் ஆன் டு த டாப் பீப்புள். பட் இங்கே மோடை ஃபாலோ பண்ணால் இன்னும் 15 days ஆகும். அந்த 15 days நான் வெயிட் பண்ணணும். தட் cannot be. Then I will say that okay, let's not, I'll not take it up with the management itself. அப்படியே விட்டுட்டு போடணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி விட்டுடுவேன். So this is the problem. So this is being affected by rules and policies of the organization. Hierarchical positions இருக்கு, லோவர் லெவல்லேருந்து மேலே போகிறதுக்கு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு வழி இல்லை. ஆர்கனைசேஷன் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இஸ் தட் வே வேர் interdepartmental communications are not available. You have to go through only your mode na, it will be tough. That are called as organization barriers. Then we have other forms of psychology barrier which is including close mindedness, impatience. இப்போ நான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கும்போது நான் அவர் கேட்க மாட்டுறாரு அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்ண முடியும், right? So he's not ready to take, then also it is a problem. Then what we have here is the legal aspects of the business. பொதுவா ஒரு பிஸ்னஸை பத்தி நம்ம இது கொடுக்கும்போது ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் டிஸ்க்ளைமர் கொடுக்கணும், லீகல் டிஸ்க்ளோஷர்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும். இதெல்லாம் வெரி காமன் திங். இட் இஸ் நாட் டூ ரிலவென்ட் டு த எக்ஸாம் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூ, பட் சின்ஸ் இட் இஸ் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த சிலபஸ் ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் கவரிங். ஓகே, லீகல் ஒரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் நான் கொடுக்கும்போது ஹவு இட் ஹேஸ் டு பி லீகல்ன்றதை பார்க்குறாங்க. Okay, I have to give product disclosures relating to that. In the product is not consumable for kids less than 5 years of age. அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்லணும்னா it should be part of it. That is also a communication சொல்றேன். Wherever there is some information which has to be specifically given, I have to give because it has to be a product disclaimer, right? So product disclaimer is to be given. So here we can see this warning signs on cigarette product. It is basically a product disclaimer. In case of legal disclosure has to be given, டிஸ்க்ளோஷர் ஹாஸ் டு பி கிவன். நம்ம அந்த புக்லாம் படிக்கும்போது ஏதாவது ஸ்டோரி புக் படிப்போம், அதில் காப்பி ரைட்ஸ் ப்ரொஹிபிட்டர்னு சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா நீங்கள் இந்த புக்கை எடுத்து இன்னொரு காப்பி போட்டு யாருக்கும் விற்கக்கூடாது. ஸோ தட் இஸ் ஆல் த லீகல் டிஸ்க்ளோஷர்ஸ் விச் தே ஆர் டூயிங். தென் வென் கம்ஸ் டு ஃபினான்ஷியல் ரிப்போர்ட்டிங், ஃபினான்ஷியல் ரிப்போர்ட்டிங் வந்து பேலன்ஸ் ஷீட்டு, ப்ராஃபிட் அண்ட் லாஸ் அக்கௌண்ட்லாம் கம்பெனி ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணும்போது தே நீட் டு ஃபாலோ த ஃபார்மேட் அண்ட் இப்படி தான் பண்ணணும், இந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்லாம் கொடுக்கணும். மெயினாக இப்படி கொடுக்கணுன்றதுக்காக என்ன வேணா கொடுக்கணும் இல்லை, உண்மையா என்ன நடக்குதோ, என்ன ப்ராஃபிட் ஆக்சுவலா பண்ணியிருக்காங்களோ அதான் கொடுக்கணும். ப்ராஃபிட்டை பூஸ்ட் பண்ணி காமிக்கிறது அதெல்லாம் கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. ஏன்னா இட் வில் கம் பேக் வித் லீகல் எஃபெக்ட் ஆன் அஸ். அப்படி கண்டுபிடிச்சாங்கன்னா வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ், யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு பி prosecuted for that, right? So legality of the communication is also important. Contracts and internal communication has to be also equivalently evaluated. Marketing communicationsல எப்படி இருக்கணும், இப்போ ஆல்ரெடி மார்க்கெட்டிங் பத்தி எப்படின்னு பார்த்துட்டோம். ஓகே, ஒரு சேல்ஸ்மேன்ஸ் எப்படி பிஹேவ் பண்ணணும், ஒரு ப்ராஸ்பெக்ட் கஸ்டமர் வராரு, ஒரு எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் கஸ்டமர் வந்து ப்ராப்ளம்னு வராரு, அவர்கிட்ட உங்களுக்கு தான் வித்தாச்சுல என்கிட்ட வராதிங்கன்னு சொன்னா வெதர் ஹி வில் கம் அகெயின் வித் அ டிஃப்ரெண்ட் பிஸ்னஸ். நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் when he is making a good order he will not even consider, ஏன்னா உங்களோட சர்வீஸ் சரியில்லை, ரைட்? ஸோ ஆல் திஸ் கேன் லீட் டு சீரியஸ் லீகல் இம்பேக்ட்ஸ். அப்போ என்ன பண்ணுவார், சர்வீஸ் நீங்கள் ஒழுங்காக பண்ணலை அப்படின்னும் போது, சர்வீஸை வந்து யூ ஆர் நாட் டேக்கிங் இட் அப் அஸ் அன் மேட்டர்னும் போது he will raise a suit. They are not providing service, they have given a deficit product, so they have to replace it. If not, I am going to charge him for prosecution னு சொல்லி காட்ட போகிறாங்க, ரைட்? So these are few other threats in legal aspects. I'll just skip it because it doesn't have any question paper value. It just says எப்படிலாம் ப்ரிவெண்ட் பண்ணலாம்னு சொல்லி ரெக்கார்ட்ஸை வந்து ஒழுங்காக வச்சுக்கணும், காப்பி ரைட் இருக்க டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸை காப்பி பண்ணக்கூடாது, ப்ராப்பர் டோன் அண்ட் வாய்ஸ் ஆஃப் வென் யூஸிங் ஸ்பீக்கிங் டு கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃபீஸஸில் பேச போகிறேன், நான் என்எஸ்சி பிஎஸ்சியில் பேசுகிறேன், இல்லை ஆர்ஓசியில் பேசும்போது ஐ ஹாவ் டு யூஸ் அப்ராப்ரியேட் லாங்குவேஜ். நான் போய் அவங்கக்கிட்ட ஏன் இதை பண்ண மாட்டேறீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. ஸோ தே ஹாவ் எனஃப் ஒர்க் டு டூ. When I am making an application, I have to remind, sir, this application is still pending. Can you please let us know the status of it? அப்படி தான் ரெக்வஸ்டாக தான் போய் கேட்க முடியும். ஸோ அதர்வைஸ் it will fall on the wrong foot. So all these things are generally things which is closely related to this legal impact. Legal impact இல்லாமல் அவாய்ட் பண்ணிட்டு எப்படி சிம்பிளாக வந்து சால்வ் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்றதுக்கான ப்ராப்பர் way இது. The last part is going to be a use of graphics and references in business communication. ஏன் இது இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் அப்படின்னா, இன்னைக்கு யாரும் பேராகிராஃப்ஸ்லாம் படிக்கிறது இல்லை. ஓகே, இந்த மெட்டீரியலே கொடுத்தோன்னா கூட சார் இதில் வந்து இன்னும் நிறையா வந்து if you could put flow charts and other things it will be easier for us. Obviously I will also agree to that because why nobody wants to read paragraphs. சிம்பிளா எனக்கு கொடுங்க அப்படின்னு தான் கேட்க போகிறோம். ஸோ தட் வே யூசிங் ஆஃப் கிராஃபிக்ஸ் ரெஃபரன்சஸ் இஸ் பிகம் பிஸ்னஸ் வேர்ல்ட்லே. இப்போ நம்ம போர்ட் மீட்டிங் எடுக்கிறோம், அங்கே போயிட்டு ஒரு பெரிய எக்ஸல் ஷீட்டை ஓப்பன் பண்ணி திஸ் இஸ் ஹவ் வி ஹவ் மேட் ப்ராஃபிட்னா யாரும் பார்க்க போகிறது கிடையாது. யூ டேக் ஆல் த இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஏரியாஸ், சேல்ஸ், ப்ராஃபிட்டு, காஸ்ட் எவ்வளோ, வாட் இஸ் மை இபிஎஸ், ஏர்னிங்ஸ் பெர் ஷேர் எவ்வளோ வரும், என்னோட டோட்டல் அசட்ஸ் எவ்வளோ, லைபிலிட்டிஸ் எவ்வளோ, அதை மட்டும் எடுத்து இஃப் ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு ஷோ இட் இன் அ பிபிடி, பீப்புள் நோஸ் ஓ இப்படி போயிருக்கா. ஓகே, சிமிலர்லி கிராஃப் லாஸ்ட் இயர்லேருந்து எப்படி க்ரோ ஆயிருக்கு, லாஸ்ட் 3 இயர்ஸ் எனக்கு ட்ரெண்டு காமினா 3 இயரோட டேட்டாவை எடுத்து ஒரு சார்ட் மாதிரி போட்டால் இட் இஸ் ஈஸி ஃபார் தெம். they don't have to go through multiple files பார்க்கணுமோ இல்லை multiple columnsல இருக்க டேட்டாவை பார்க்கணுமோ தேவையே இல்லை. So it is simple that these formats of charts and graphics usage has made the communication more effective. டைமும் எவ்வளோ சேவ் ஆகுது, எல்லாத்தையும் படிக்க தேவையில்ல. ஒரு 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 ஸ்லைட்ல வந்து if I am able to give all this information all at once, it is going to serve the purpose for all. ஒரே few secondsல we will be able to get what it is, how it has progressed. Last 3 yearsல சேல்ஸ் மேலே போயிருக்க கீழே வந்திருந்தான்னு கிராஃப் வச்சு கண்டுபிடிச்சிடும். Right? So those references are few. One is flowcharts, which we are even seeing in our thing. கோட்டோட இதுவாக இருக்கட்டும், இப்போ நம்ம கோட்டோட ஹைரார்கி ஆகட்டும், நம்ம பார்த்துட்டு இருந்த சர்டைன் டாபிக்ஸில் கான்ட்ராக்ட்ஸ் ஆக்டில் பார்க்கும்போது டிஃபரன்சியேஷன்லாம் போட்டு காமிச்சோம் இல்லையா. வாட் ஆர் த டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைப்ஸ், ஹவு இட் இஸ் பீயிங் கமிங் அப் அப்படின்றது பார்க்குறோம். வாட் ஆர் த டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஃப்ரீ கன்சென்ட் பார்க்கும்போது ஒரு ஃப்ளோ சார்ட் கொடுத்தோம்ல. ஃப்ளோ சார்ட் இஸ் வேர் a step by step breakout of long cumbersome process are given. மல்டிபிள் திங்ஸ் சொல்லும்போது இதுலேருந்து இது இப்படி பிரியுது, இதுலேருந்து இப்படி போகுது அப்படின்றத காட்டுறதுக்கு ஃப்ளோ சார்ட் ஸ்டெப் பை ஸ்டெப்பாக காட்ட போகுது, பிரேக் டவுன் அனாலிசிஸ் ஆஃப் பண்ண போகுது. தென் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன்ஸ், as I told you, மைக்ரோசாஃப்ட் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன்ஸ் அண்ட் அதர் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன். மைக்ரோசாஃப்ட் மட்டும் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் கிடையாது, அதர் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் ஆல்சோ ப்ரெசன்டேஷன்ஸ். ஓகே, ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு கிவ் யூ அண்ட் ஒரு பெரிய போர்டில் வந்து ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு ட்ரா சம்திங் அண்ட் கிவ் யூ அ ப்ரெசன்டேஷன். தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ ப்ரெசன்டேஷன். பட் இந்த மாடர்ன் வேர்ல்டு மைக்ரோசாஃப்ட் ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் பிபிடிஸ் ஆர் கெட்டிங், அதில் எல்லா இன்ஃபர்மேஷனும் நான் கொடுத்துட்றேன். தென் கலர் கோடிங், ஒன் ஆஃப் த இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கலர் கோடிங். எப்படி டார்கெட் எவ்வளோ, டார்கெட் இஸ் ப்ளூன்னு வச்சுக்கலாம். ஹவு மச் ஐ ஹவ் அச்சீவ்டு greenனு வச்சுக்கலாம். ஸோ ஐ வில் சே, ஸோ இந்த கலர் கோடிங் நான் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன்னா ஐ நீட் நாட் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் டு தம். ப்ளூ இஸ் டார்கெட், green is actualsனு. So it is already been fixed. The moment I display that, they will understand, okay, blue is the target, green is இது. So in case if it is a profit நான் வந்து காமிக்கிறேன், ப்ராஃபிட் வரும்போது தான் greenல காமிக்கிறேன். In case of lossனா ரெட்ல காமிக்கிறேன். Simply the basis the color itself, they will be knowing that whether the company has made profit or loss. Profit or loss. So that is very easy thing. Color coding when it comes to tables and graphs. So huge information. Instead of that, ஒரு டேபிள் ஒரு காலம் போட்டு இதுதான் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் சொல்ல போறேன், ஆர் கிராஃப் மூலியமா காமிக்க போறேன். திஸ் இஸ் ஹவ் இட் ஹஸ் grown. Okay, so tables are making understand to summarize the contents as into MS Excel reports காட்ட போறது. When it comes to graphs, picture imagery representation. Okay, graphs are imagery representation used for table to the bulk டேட்டாவை காமிக்கிறதுக்கு பண்ண போறாங்க. இதெல்லாம் ஏன் நம்ம பார்க்குறோம், சின்ன சின்ன வேர்ட்ஸ்ல ஓகே they can ask. Okay, color coding is generally used to highlight certain important documents or significant in documents. So the red வந்து ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா வந்து கலர் கோட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன்னா it is important. yellow, blue அது மாதிரிலாம் சொல்றேன்னா it is important. So generally இந்த ரிஸ்க் எல்லாம் எவாலுவேட் பண்ணும்போது ரெட்ல இருக்கிறது ரொம்ப டாப் ஹை ரிஸ்க், எல்லோ மீடியம் ரிஸ்க், ஆரஞ்சு இருக்கு, மற்ற மாதிரி கலர் கோடிங்லாம் கொடுத்துருக்கேன்னா அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி ரிஸ்க் எவாலுவேஷன் இஸ் பீன். Okay, tables and graphs, as we know, tables is a format in which graphs are imagery representation of a table, all these things. Motion graphics, இப்போ இதுவுமே இருக்கு. இப்போ we go have, there are some couple of presentation tools. What happens, உங்க ஃபேஸ் நீங்க வச்சுக்கலாம். So this will be an tool, you as though you are going to travel and click on the button. இது மாதிரிலாம் வந்து you have presentation tools. Let's assume if India marketல I have 4 regions to cover na, this application allows me to take short videos எடுத்துட்டு if I'm going to play it, it will show India at first. When I click on, நான் click கூட பண்ண தேவையில்ல, after 3 seconds it automatically takes to the south region. அங்க என்ன ரிசல்ட்ஸ்னு எனக்கு காமிக்கும். Then it will come back north region போகும், then it will show the results. I will come back east, come back west, come back. So the motion graphics is also possible. Motion graphics is also making a thing. So if it is அந்த இதுவே கிராஃபே வந்து நான் ஒரு என்டர் கிளிக் பண்ணோன்னா it can grow this way. Okay, graph is going like this, it is going in the upward trend அப்படின்றத காமிக்கலாம். All this are coming under motion graphics. And referencing is nothing but, இப்போ அங்கேருந்து நம்ம வந்து கான்செப்ட்லாம் எடுக்கிறோம் இல்லையா, எல்லா இடத்துலையும் கான்செப்ட். ஏன் இந்த ரெஃபரன்சிங் ரெண்டு வார்த்தை ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும். ஒன் இஸ் வேர் we are going to take multiple information. ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் ரிப்போர்ட் எழுதுறோம்னா யார்கிட்ட இருந்தோ அவங்க என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்க மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பற்றிலாம் எடுக்க போகிறோம் இல்லையா? ஸோ அந்த மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்ல சோ அண்ட் சோ பர்சன் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பற்றி இப்படி பேசியிருக்காரு அப்படின்லாம் சொல்ல போகிறோம். நவ் இட் இஸ் ஹிஸ் கண்டென்ட் இல்லையா? ஸோ கான்ட்ராக்ட்ஸ் ஆக்ட் டிஃபைன்ஸ் கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆஸ்ன்னு நம்ம சொன்னோம்னா அது நான் கொடுக்குற கண்டென்ட் கிடையாது, கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆக்ட் கொடுக்குற கண்டென்ட். அப்போ கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆக்ட் கண்டென்ட்ஸ் நான் சொல்லும் போது இட் இஸ் அண்ட் ரெஃபரன்சிங் விச் இஸ் யூஸ்ட், ரைட்? ஸோ ஐ எம் சேயிங் ஆடம் ஸ்மித் சேஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்றேன்னா ஆடம் ஸ்மித் எக்கனாமிக்ஸ்ல என்ன சொன்னாருன்றதான் நான் ரெஃபர் பண்றேனே தவிர நானா எதுவும் சொல்லலை. ஸோ திஸ் ஆக்ட் ஆஃப் referring to the original article is called referencing. Okay, so the business diversify and expands in operations, it could relate to that. So as a concept of that, referencing becomes essential. Okay, எப்பப்பெல்லாம் வந்து ரெஃபரன்சிங் தேவை அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா மல்டிபிள் ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட இருந்து மல்டிபிள் பர்சன் கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கணும். அப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன், இவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து ஒரு சேல்ஸ் டேட்டால இருந்து வந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் இது அப்படின்னு சொல்ல போறேன். ஸோ ரெஃபரன்சிங் எப்படி ஹெல்ப் பண்ணும், இட்ஸ் அவாய்ட்ஸ் பிளாகரிசம். நான் வந்து பிளாகரிசம் இஸ் நத்திங் பட் காப்பியிங் ஆஃப் அன் அதர் பர்சன்ஸ் கண்டென்ட். நிறைய நிறைய எம்பிஏ யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ்ல தே ஆர் ஹேவிங் அ சைட், பிளாஜரிசம் சைட் வச்சிருக்காங்க. என்ன என்ன பண்ணுன்னா யூ ஹாவ் டு சப்மிட் அ ரிப்போர்ட் இன் திஸ் சைட். இஃப் இட் இஸ் லெஸ் தேன் 5% பிளாகரிசம்னா தான் ரிப்போர்ட்டே நீங்க சப்மிட் பண்ண முடியும். இல்லைன்னா யுவர் ரிப்போர்ட் இஸ் நாட் வேலிட். ஓகே, தே வில் நாட் அக்செப்ட் யுவர் ரிப்போர்ட். ஸோ ஏன் பிளாகரிசம், நீங்க வேற யாருக்காவது இருக்க ரிப்போர்ட் எடுத்து பேஸ்ட் பண்ணிடக்கூடாதுன்றதுக்காக தே வாண்ட் யுவர் ஓன் ஒரிஜினல் கண்டென்ட். ஸோ ரெஃபரன்சிங் எப்படி ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுன்னா அந்த நான் வந்து ஆல்ரெடி எடுத்து மென்ஷன் பண்ணிடுறதுனால இட் வில் நாட் டேக் இட் அஸ் அ டூப்ளிகேட் கண்டென்ட். ஓகே, ரெஃபரன்சிங் ஹெல்ப் ஆன் அவாய்டிங் பிளாகரிசம். ப்ராப்பர் ரெஃபரன்சிங் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் த டாபிக் பெட்டர் தென் ரெஃபரன்சிங் ப்ரொவைட் சப்போர்ட்டிங் எவிடன்ஸ். நான் சொன்னா ஏத்துக்க மாட்டாங்க, ஆடம் ஸ்மித் சொன்னா ஏத்துப்பாங்கல்ல. ஸோ இட் வில் ப்ரொவைட் ப்ராப்பர் சப்போர்ட்டிங் எவிடன்ஸ் அண்ட் அலோவ் தேர்ட் பார்ட்டிஸ் டு ஐடென்டிஃபை த சோர்சஸ். நான் ஒரு சின்ன பார்ட் கொடுத்துருக்கேன், அவங்க அதை பத்தி ஃபர்தரா டிலே பண்ணணும்னா எங்க இருந்து எடுத்தேன் நானே சொல்லிட்டேன்னா தே வில் அகைன் கோ டு those areas and be able to check for that. Okay, so that is what the end of referencing. Clear? So that is the last area and the last page which we have covered. Whatever we have seen on the business communication, ஏன் இன்னைக்கு வந்து we ran fast ன்றது பார்த்தோம்னா we have only 10 questions in this area and the amount of coverage which they are given is too long, too exhaustive. So we have made sure that main parts is covered with time. இப்போ இன்ஃபார்மல் ஃபார்மல் கம்யூனிகேஷன்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது எவ்வளோ டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணுமோ அந்த அளவுக்கு ஈக்குவலான டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். when it comes to etiquettes and other areas we chose less time because the question paper value are very small to it. அது அது உள்ள இருந்து கொஸ்டின் கேட்கறது கஷ்டம். ஸோ wherever it's necessary we have taken it and now we have completed the all 5 modules of it. Okay, now we will be, it is open for you to take a any queries we have, any questions we have. எல்லாத்துலேயும் சேர்த்து இல்லை இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ்ல இல்லை லாஸ்ட் 3 செஷன்ஸ்ல பார்த்த ஏதோ டாபிக்ஸ்ல எனக்கு டவுட் இருக்குனாலும் we can take it up now. After the if at all we have some doubts will get cleared. After the doubt is being cleared we'll go for a half an hour break for breakfast. Then we will come back. We have 2 question papers, 50-50 questions. Okay, total 100 questions we will be working out. It will be, I have made it into a presentation so that it will be easy for us. PPT ல இருக்கு question, you will all have to put your answers there. So accordingly if there is a different answer you will take a interpretive methodology. அது ஏன் கொஸ்டின்ஸ்க்கு ஏன் இந்த ஆன்சர் வந்துச்சுன்றதை வச்சு we will decide which is the correct answer என்றதையும் பார்ப்போம். It will go as that. Okay, any doubts so far, any doubts for which we have to clear, anything can come. So how should I assume? So everybody has understood everything or the other way? Yes, thanks Nitish. Yes ma'am.
ரெஃபரன்சிங்ல இப்ப வந்துட்டு பிளாகரிசம் அப்படி சொன்னீங்களே, அது வந்துட்டு இட் இஸ் காப்பிங் சம் அதர்ஸ் கண்டென்ட்.
Correct.
ஆனா வந்துட்டு ரெஃபரன்ஸ்ன்றது வந்து ஒரு இப்ப லைக் ஆடம் ஸ்மித்தோட அக்கார்டிங் டு ஆடம் ஸ்மித்தோட டெஃபினிஷன் படி நான் சொல்லியிருக்கேன்றது ரெஃபரன்சிங்.
Yes.
பிளாகரிசம்ன்றது இஃப் சம்ஒன் அந்த மாதிரி இது இல்லாம நார்மலா இருக்க பர்சன்ஸோட கண்டென்ட் நம்ம காப்பி பண்ணிடக்கூடாது. இந்த மாதிரி இன்னொருத்தவங்க இப்ப லெக்சர்ஸ் எடுக்கிறாங்கன்னா அவங்களோட இது எதுவும் இல்லாம பாத்துக்கிறது தான் வந்துட்டு பிளாகரிசம் சார்.
கரெக்ட். ஸோ இப்போ எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஆடம் ஸ்மித்தோட டெஃபினேஷனையே நான் ஆடம் ஸ்மித்தோட டெஃபினேஷன் இல்லைன்னு நானா எடுத்து போறேன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். அப்போ வந்து ஐ எம் நாட் மேக்கிங் எ ரெஃபரன்ஸ் தட் திஸ் வாஸ் செட் பை ஆடம் ஸ்மித்னு. அப்போ நான் சிஸ்டம்ல வந்து இதை ரன் பண்ணும்போது இட் வில் ஷோ இட் இஸ் அன் பிளாகரிசம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி காமிக்கும். இட் இஸ் டூப்ளிகேட் கண்டென்ட், இது உன்னோட கண்டென்ட் கிடையாது அப்படின்னு காமிக்கும். ஸோ ஐ மைட் ரைட் அன் எஸ்ஏ ஆர் யூ மைட் ரைட் அன் எஸ்ஏ. யூ ஆல்ரெடி ரிட்டன் அன் குட் எஸ்ஏ ஆன் சம்திங். Okay, it is already available online. I am just copying that. I have some content in this. எனக்கு உங்க கண்டென்ட்ல இருந்து ஒரு பேராகிராஃப் வேணும், அந்த பேராகிராஃபை எடுத்து நான் போட்டேன்னா இட் இஸ் பிளாகரிசம் பேசிக்கலி. பட் ரேதர் வாட் ஐ ஷுட் டூ இஸ் ஐ ஷுட் மென்ஷன் இன் so and so மிஸ் பிரியதர்ஷினிஸ் ஆர்டிகல் ஷி ஹாஸ் ரிட்டன் தட், இது மாதிரி ஒரு பாயிண்ட் கொடுத்துருக்காங்கன்னு சொன்னா இட் இஸ் ரெஃபரன்சிங். இஃப் ஐ எம் நாட் டூயிங் தட் இட் இஸ் பிளாகரிசம். ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் காப்பிங் யுவர் டேட்டா. ரெஃபரன்சிங்னா என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. இஃப் அட் ஆல் இஃப் இட் இஸ் பீங் ஆஸ்க்ட் இன் த கொஸ்டின் யூ ஷுட் பி ஏபிள் டு ஆன்சர். தட் இஸ் எனஃப். அதான் இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப மைன்யூட் ஏரியாஸ் விச் த கொஸ்டின் வில் நாட் பி ஆஸ்க்ட், ஸோ தட் வி ஹேவ் டு ரஷ் அப். எஸ், anything else, any other request from your end? You want to see any other topic? Sir, இந்த டாபிக் வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபாஸ்டா போயிட்டோம், இல்ல இந்த டாபிக் வந்து ஃபுல்லா கவர் பண்ணல. ஏன்னா obviously it is a revision session. I haven't spent 25 classes, 26 classes இருக்கிறத we have done it to literally ஒரு 4 daysல வந்து we are trying to complete. 3 daysல இருந்தா கூட it is not even ஒரு 6 to 7 classes தான் வந்து we would have considered. ஸோ அந்த டைம் பீரியட்ல முடிக்கிறனால வாட் எவர் இஸ் ஸோ இம்பார்ட்டன்ட், ஸோ கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் வேல்யூல இருக்கிறது தான் வி ஹவ் டேக்கன். ஸோ எனிதிங் விச் யூ வாண்ட் டு கவர் விச் ஐ ஹவ் நாட் கவர்ட் ஹியர் த லாஸ்ட் 3 daysல கவர் பண்ணல, பட் இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் சம் டாபிக் டு பி கிவன் எம்பசைஸ்னா யூ கேன் ஸ்டில் லெட் மீ நோ. வில் பி ஹாப்பி டு டேக் இட் அப். Yes, anything? So can we if at all, well, I'll just give you some time also. So even after break, okay, before we start the test, no test, not test, the question paper tryout. Before we try out the question paper also, if you have any doubt, we can still take it up. So now the time it is 8:54. By 9:30 we will come back. By 9:30 we will come back. I'll ask the same question if there is any doubts. If not, we will go forward with the question paper 1. We will complete it. We will see if it is taking more than 1 hour. We will complete it. We will take another 10-minute break, the second question paper, and we will wind up the session. Right? Clear? Okay then. So let's have a good breakfast and come back.